than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hansen. I'm here with David Tuckman. We're going to do a little bit of a different show tonight, Dave. We're going to be testing out our new game here at the Bicycle Casino. It is $80 max buy-in, no limit. The blinds for this game are 2 and 2. $2 and $2. We use green chips, which are $2 chips, so each person gets 2 stacks. And it's actually a little bit of a better deal than the $100 game.
Yeah,
in terms of blind size.
From what I've seen in the game actually tends to be a lot of action because there's a lot of chips on the table.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's get to the table and let's introduce the table.
Yeah, I want to forewarn everybody who's watching tonight's show. Now, although Bart already has a big ego, and his head is growing as we speak, he's actually had a really good day in No Limit Hold'em, so his head might even be bigger tonight.
Well,
so
we weren't going to quite get into that yet, but...
Seat 1, we've got Sergey Garcik. And there's Sergey. Seat 2, we got Eugene. And Eugene's not there right now. Sylvester is going to play in this game. And Sylvester told me this game's a really action game. Because, you know, everybody can see the flop, and you get people really in there moving around. Seat 4, we've got Luis Salazar. Seat 5, we've got Destai Nararo. Seat 6, we've got Larry Bunda, or Bunda. I don't know. We'll call him Larry Buddha. How's that? But Larry there. Seat 7, we got Doug. And Doug is also a dealer here. Seat 4, by the way. No, Seat 5, by the way, and Seat 7 are both dealers here.
Okay.
And Seat 8, we have a big fan of the show, actually. Tina, who is an avid emailer.
That's
we really
right,
appreciate her emails.
Tina.
And she's in the game. And as I was walking in, she goes, please be nice, please be nice. I looked at her, I go, what are you talking about? I'm always nice.
I'm always nice, yeah.
And she actually said, you are, David, that other guy, that evil one next to you. Button is in Seat 1. The blinds are 2 and 2, as Bart said.
So the green chips are $2 chips. This is going to be kind of a fun, light night, Dave, tonight.
Hey, but you know what? One thing I love about our show is that we really try to give our audience everything. Last night we've got $70,000 on the table, and tonight we probably got $700 on the table.
And I was saying, right before, the last hand before I came in here, I basically won the biggest pot of my life. I was playing the 5-10 game. I had a lot more money than I normally do on the table, and I won about it was about a $4,700 pot. 4-way action limped around here.
Yeah, you know.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's funny because, I think it's an interesting thing to bring up how the hand played out and how people who think that they can just play ABC no limit are going to maximize their profits. Now, Sylvester's going to bet 3 chips. He's going to bet $6. He's got 8-10 offsuit. And Luis is going to call here, Dave. Oftentimes we see this, trying to spike overcards here with ace-queen.
Gosh, man. Wow.
Turn is a 9. Sylvester is still ahead here. Funny thing is, if you bet on the button with 8-10 in a game like this, and somebody calls me, and Sylvester's going to check it down, I'm afraid they have a 3. And look at this, Luis makes an ace at the turn. I mean, look at that, you bet that flop, I'm really afraid someone's got a 3, because everyone's always going to check call with their trips in this type of game. You know, it's funny, you saw the lineup in the 500 game I was playing. Like I said, I had a little more money. I had put a $1,000 chip on the table. And it was so tight, full of ABC players, Dave. And basically what ended up happening was there was a guy in early position that raised with pocket aces to 50. Again, the blinds are 5-10. He had about 2,500 or 2,300, and I had him covered. I was in the cutoff with deuce 3 offsuit, and I called. The flop came ace 4-10 with 2 diamonds. He bet a little bit, and I called with the intention of possibly raising him on the turn to see if he had an ace, or I also had a gut shot straight draw. The turn was a 5. He bet pretty weak again on the turn. I mini raised him. He came over the top for 900. I moved them all in, and you can guess what he had because he instantly called.
Right.
And I won all 3 times. He had pocket aces. And, of course, he couldn't believe that I made that move. 8-7-8 here.
Trip 8's here for Seat 6.
$4.
Larry there.
And Larry's actually going to come out and bet.
I'll let you have you let me
And look at this. Luis is going to call here with ace high. Wait, talk about betting out with your
Actually,
tricks.
Eugene called
Oh,
it.
excuse me, it is Eugene.
Yeah.
He's got a flush draw. And the
got
turn
them.
is a flush. But look at Larry. He's got the 10 of spades in his hand. He's got an open-ended straight flush with tricks.
He's got a lot of outs here, obviously. A jack of spades,
Yep.
a 6 of spades, or any 10, any 7, any 8, or any 9 would give him the pot.
That's unbelievable. How many outs is that? 1 8, 3 7s, 3 9s, and just a call. And the river's a jack of spades, and he makes a straight flush.
Yep.
Wow. And he's going to bet here. Looks like 40. And Eugene's going to call with the queen high flush, and he's going to take it down there with the straight
Wow,
flush.
we see a straight flush here.
Wow. Straight flush.
Oh,
Look at that. He kind of slow-rolled him, too, Dave. He showed the 8 of diamonds first, then turned over the 10 of spades.
Yeah.
he would have called if I raised the turn anyway.
What I was going to say was that he's got 1 8, like you say. He's got 3
1 8,
9s.
3 9s, 3 7s. One, obviously, the 6 of spades, the jack of spades.
Right. It's about 12, 13 outs.
Yeah. Probably about 3 to 1 on the dog. Not quite, actually.
Oh, look
10
at
after 1.
Greg Raymer glasses going on here. Of course, if you want to email us, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Now, in this game, I think that ABC Play will take it down in a very restricted game. There's no doubt you don't need to make moves in this game. But again, you know,
Although, depending on the flavor of the game, this might be the type of game where you can take advantage of some passive play.
right.
Like in any game, especially in a no-limit game, if you know where your opponents are at, it's really easy to play.
4-way action here.
I mean, we always talk about Joe Wynn, and I have utmost respect for Joe Wynn, but in no limit, I always know where he's at.
Ace 3-4 here, and Doug's got top pair in seat 7. He's going to check it from up front. It was limped around. And the more and more, Dave, I play unrestricted buying no limit, it's almost like the more and more I come to respect those players who are good tight limit players and say, might even be professional poker players, but played ABC less. Because I just don't think they're maximizing their profit in the game.
Right.
They're not paying attention to position and what you can do in that game. Turns a 7. Now Doug's got top pair and a nut flush draw.
Well, he's also got a double gutter here. A deuce or 6 would give him a straight.
Wow. Straight draw, top pair, and a flush draw. And now he's going to bet.
And Larry's in really bad shape here, and he's going to call.
And the river's an ace.
Well, now Doug's got trips. Didn't need it, but he's already ahead. And he's going to bet. Nice little value bet here. Looks like he's betting about 8 chips, which is $16.
There you go.
And Brian shoves in the chips.
You know, one of the other things that was going through my head, Dave, in that hand, of course, is what we said.
Don't pair the board. Don't pair the board.
Well, yeah. Well, I ran it 3 times and I won all 3 times. But what we said is I had a gut shot, yes, but I called with the intention of possibly trying to get him off of an ace or representing a diamond. Now he had 3 aces. It would have been really hard to get him off the hand if a diamond come. But let's say he had ace queen.
Right.
I make a nice raise on the turn, and throw a nice bet in on the river if you know.
Well, you saw him basically. You're saying. I mean, you saw him as a pretty tight player, pretty
Right.
ABC player,
Right.
and you figured, hey, as long as this guy doesn't have a set or
Right.
the nuts,
Right.
I can probably get him off the hand. Little did you know, obviously, if you knew he had 3 aces, I don't think you'd call the flop.
Well, the funny thing is that when we were that deep, if I can catch an offsuit 5, which was or a 5, any 5, 1 out of 10 times, for a $100 pot, I definitely won $1,000, $100 bet there on the
Yeah,
flop.
exactly. But I mean, the odds of you hitting it are probably 1 in 13. So, but I'm saying that's only specifically if you know he has trip aces.
Exactly.
If you think he has pocket queens, hey, he might even check you in the turn. He can
Right.
take it away.
Right.
There's a lot of ways to play that hand. Some people go, "What a donkey! How could he play that hand?"
Well, and that's what, you know, if Isaac has a chance sometime during the show, maybe we can scroll over to that table and people will recognize the players on the table. When you're up against really, really tight, passive ABC players, you can just represent so much. You can call in position with 2 clubs out there and have absolutely nothing and represent a club draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some sort of a draw,
Right.
obviously. And in your case, obviously, you had the gut shot to the nuts.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if a diamond comes off, you can represent that.
Yeah.
If a 5 comes off, obviously, you have the nuts. And you know what? If he bets out weak again, and he only has ace queen, or if he has pocket queens or something like that, you can represent the bigger hand and get him off it.
Actually, you might be able to buy more.
So again, we're playing 2-2 blinds, limp here.
And then obviously, I guess his weak bet, oftentimes weakness and strength are kind of the same.
Right. 5-way action here.
Betting-wise, that is.
King 4-10, all spades. We got the ace of spades over there for Larry. He's got ace 7. We haven't seen any pre-flop raising. And Sylvester's going to come in and bet with the queen of spades, pair of tens. And he has the best hand right now.
Yeah.
He bets $8, and Larry's going to call.
And you'll see most players in this game calling with their draws. Obviously, you and I are advocates for sometimes raising with our draws.
And the turn's a 10, and now Sylvester's got trips.
Yeah, and Larry is now drawing only to a spade.
And he is going to bet
Nice hefty bet here, too.
$32. Yeah, and oftentimes, Larry's going to make this mistake. He's got a dry spade draw, and the board is paired. Now, he is drawing live because Sylvester, of course, has the queen of spades in his hand, so there's no way that he can fill up on this hand. But very dangerous, obviously.
Yes.
Here we go to the river. And the river's a spade. Well, this guy's the river king here, Larry. It gets checked by Sylvester, and Sylvester's got the second highest spade draw. And let's see if he's going to check call
Yeah,
here.
I think you can almost throw this away. I mean, what is the guy calling me with?
He's bet 40 here, and the pot is about 100. So he's bet $40 into a $100 pot. It's a $140 pot, 40 to call. Yeah, you're right. I mean, would a guy bet here with the 9 of spades?
Well, would he call you the whole way with the 9 of spades and then bluff on the river?
Right. Now, this is you might see somebody do that in a very, very advanced player in an unrestricted bind game, not here.
If this was Jonas and that was Avo,
Right.
or this was Jonas and Vic Park,
Right.
Obviously, hey, you very well might call it the queen of spades. You might call it the deuce of spades.
Right.
You might even call it trip tens.
Sylvester's asking him, did you flop a flush? And he's going to pay him off here. And I know you said, well, if you play the hand, I don't know if it's necessarily that easy of a lay down, but it can definitely be laid down there. The queen of spades, and he's going to take
Well,
it down.
sometimes what I would have liked to see Sylvester do is, what if Sylvester throws in a little stop bet on the river? And there's no way the players at this level are going to recognize the blocker bet.
Yeah.
If he throws in like a $10 blocker bet on the river, right?
And
if he gets raised, he can easily throw it away.
Easily throw it away.
If he doesn't get raised, okay, fine.
Instead, he ended up check calling 40, where maybe he wanted to call 20 or so. So he could have risked 20, found out his information, and only lost 20 in the hand. And some people might only even call with the ace of spades on a paired board. We've seen that tons of times too.
I mean, the funny thing is, as silly as the bet might have looked, betting 10 into a pot that was, say, maybe $70 or $80,
right?
And it would have looked silly. I think $10 would have gotten the same information. Now, I wouldn't recommend that against a player that's obviously an advanced poker player, because they'll sense your weakness and raise you regardless.
I agree. 5 players.
5-way action here.
Pocket 9s for Destai.
10-3 deuce here, a couple diamonds.
Well, 2 pair for Eugene. He's flop bottom 2 pair. He's got your favorite hand now.
Yeah. And Eugene's going to move all in here, which is the right play with his stack size. I mean, he's got 2 pair.
Yeah, you know what? He figures you're going to get called by any high diamond, say the ace or king of diamonds. And if anybody has a 10, he'll probably get called also, especially at a game like this. And Larry's even thinking about it with the 8 of diamonds.
Wow. And he is going to call. And he's got he's drawing here live to a diamond.
Yeah. Obviously,
Wow.
Sergey not in the hand. He's going to fold.
You want to show?
And Larry needs another, let's see if he can catch it on the return of the river this time.
If Eugene, of course, has redraws to fill up here.
Yeah. Larry shows the 8 of diamonds.
Well, turns a jack.
Oh!
Boy, this guy is, like I said, he's the River King.
A river boat king.
Yeah. Call him the new Jonas, River
Yeah,
Boat
exactly.
King.
Man, and he calls it 8 of diamonds, as if it was like, the nuts.
I was reviewing some of the message board from yesterday, Dave.
Yeah.
And people were really complimenting Jonas. His game is really, really up there. I have a lot of respect for his game. I always have had a lot of respect for his game.
It's funny,
You know,
when he and Gore were good buddies and they were playing the 5-10 game together,
Right.
when our show first started, it was kind of like, wow, Gore and Jonas and Gore.
right?
Jonas's game is so far superior to Gore's.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
And I like Gore, and I like
Right.
his game.
Right.
But it's not even close.
Right.
Jonas has really taken his game to another level. I was talking to Mo about it.
Yeah.
And, Mo is... It's one thing when Mo says, oh, he's a good player in front of other people, but when he's talking to, say, specifically just me about
Right.
somebody, rarely will he, heap praise on a player. And he was saying, Jonas is a good player. I don't... if I can, I'll stay out of his way. He's not really a player I look to mix it up with.
Well, again, we talk about No Limit being a game of implied odds, and, you know, do you really want to get mixed up? Now, 5-way action here. 8-3-6, couple clubs that was limped around. Now, I don't even know, Dave, the best player in the world is going to get away from 3 aces when an offsuit 5 comes on the turn against my hand.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, in that case, that guy played at the ABC, nothing you can do.
Yeah.
If you reversed it and you had pocket aces there, there's no way you're getting away from it either.
There's just so many hands I could have raced with on the turn. Lower
Another set,
Yeah.
a bottom set. I mean,
Yeah.
There's just too many chances. There's no way you're throwing it away.
Yeah.
Okay. 12.
And it's very difficult to put you on 2-3 there, exactly, deuce 3.
Could have had deuce 3 of diamonds.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only thing that makes
Yeah.
sense, really, but it's like, I would sooner put you on a set.
Yeah.
You said the flop was ace.
Ace 4-10.
Yeah, I would
diamonds.
sooner put you on a 10.
Right.
Set of 10s or a set of 4s.
Double that. With 3 more.
Now we had a bet here by the button in seat 9 with 4-5. He's open-ended here. In seat 1, Chris is going to call. He's got overcards and a gut shot to the 7. A couple clubs out there, so we're heads up 4-5 against 9-10. Well, the turn's a 5, and now Serge has the best hand. I was going to say it was against draw.
Yeah, Sergey's in the lead here with a pair of 5s. Now, obviously, his 7 is no good because the 7 would give Chris the straight. But Sergey can also catch a 2-4 straight. Chris now needs a 7, a 9, or a 10 to win this hand.
Yeah. He got checked to Sergey. He's on the button. What is he going to do here? I mean, what do you put the guy on when he calls you on the flop? And it goes check, check. And the river here is a 4, and he's made 2 pair.
Yeah, and he's going to take it down. Sergey's got the best hand.
He's all in.
And he's moving all in here.
Wow.
I mean, he can't beat a 7 or a deuce.
Now, this is one of those times, can you get called by a hand that's worse than yours?
Right.
Now, obviously, we're going to still try to use our analysis on some of these hands and obviously talk about the hands. But obviously, a lot of these players, most of these players are recreational players. We're not going to see too many professionals last night.
Well, let's talk about, I mean, I think it's only fair to really talk about some restricted, severely restricted buy-in, no-limit hold'em strategy here, Dave. I mean, you almost want to play at ABC like a limit game.
Well, hold on,
at
let me go
first.
get my Russ Fox book.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, that book is pretty good for this type of game, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I still maintain, though, why get into bad habits? If you're going to play no limit hold'em, learn how to play the right way.
Yeah.
And to me, I think you're
So
learning.
do you think that if someone just tries to learn how to play exclusively restricted, it's the wrong way?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you're maximizing, like you were just saying before the show started.
Yeah.
I don't think you're maximizing
$6 to call.
your potential
Right.
by just playing at ABC. I think there's more money to be made out there.
Right.
No, not yet.
And we have a raise here by Eugene. He's going to raise it
players.
with, it looks like 5-6 of diamonds, I want to say.
And we got a set of two deuces for Chris.
And actually, it's Sylvester who raised with 6-5 of diamonds. So he's the pre-flop raiser, and he's going to come out and bet with a suited
16.
connector. He's going to bet 16. Now, Chris has got a set. Now, I want to say, I have a lot of respect for Sylvester's game. I think he's a good player. But there's no way that he should be playing this game this way. Why would you raise with 6-5 of diamonds and then lead out on the flop?
Well,
Doesn't
not-
make any sense.
Not out of position. To
Yeah.
me, the players at this game are going to give me a lot of their information.
Right.
Whether they check or bet or how much they bet on the flop. I want to play a lot of hands in position.
Right.
And I really don't want to play many hands out of position.
Now, Chris, it looked like he just smooth called with the set.
Well, actually, no, Doug smooth called. It's up to Chris right now.
Oh, you're right. Doug did smooth call with middle pair.
Well, he had Jack 10 there.
And he's just going to move all in here.
Yeah, Chris is not going to mess around.
I had the motion that he was just kind of like.
Let's see how much more it is.
20 more.
Now, the special thing about those glasses that Doug's wearing is he can actually radio Greg Raymer and ask him what to do. Now, would a guy make a move like this? You wonder at a game like this, would a guy make a move like this with, say, King Jack? You know, just guy, you know what, I'm all in, see what happens.
Well, Doug's going to make the call, and he's going to need to catch a running full house here or some sort of running straight. Here we go to the turn.
Well,
Well,
he's got outs. He needs a queen or 10.
Yep.
No.
No, not going to happen. There you go.
How about running queens? Is that a bad beat
That's
or what?
nasty beat.
Yeah, that's just
Nasty
ugly.
beat. What I was going to say, Dave, we have an email here, the first email of the night from Mike Antolini. We actually answered his question. I think it was last night. Maybe he wasn't listening, but we'll do it again because he poses an interesting question. He said, what's the collection on this game, so maybe Donna can tell us out there, maybe read from the board. But to answer his question, because he said at a casino near me, in a 1-2 no limit game with a $100 max buy-in, it's a $5 rake every half hour. And he says, is this too high? We talked last night when we were playing 25-50 no limit. It was a $13 collection every half hour.
And the question is it too high for what?
Right.
Is it too high to be a professional poker player at that level? Yes.
Going to raise to 6.
Well, and I just got the answer, and I'll get to it at the end of this hand. We have a little raise here by seat 7 with ace-jack offsuit. He's going to make it 6. And we're going to see several callers.
5 players.
There's another ace-jack over there in the hand. Here we go.
Surprising. No ace-jack comes out.
Well, Chris has flopped top 2 pair here. He's on a roll in seat 1. Let's see how he's going to play it. The pot's $30.
Okay.
Now, Larry's got an interesting hand. Larry's got overcards, gut shot straight draw, and a backdoor flush draw.
Now, Chris checked it. And Eugene's just going to come out and bet here with overcards.
And look at this. Luis is going to call
With the ace-10. Wow. 10 of hearts.
Now, if you have the ace of hearts, maybe you can rationalize that.
But again, this is why you can play this game pretty much ABC.
Of course.
Because now Chris is, I guess he thinks he's going to check raise here, but if he'd actually thrown out a bet, he would have been called by something, you know, like ace-10, which really doesn't warrant a call. And look at Larry. He's going to call with a gut shot. And look at, and now Chris is going to check raise all in.
Yeah, I like Larry calling with 7-8 better than ace-10.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going
Chris
to
is
go all
going to
in.
check raise all in here. And he's in really good shape. I mean, the
He's in
pot.
great shape.
Well, the thing is, the pot after those 2 bets was about 55, and let's see how much more it is.
Yeah, Luis and Eugene have gut shots. Larry's got a gut shot.
So now it's about a $140 pot, 82 to call. So there you go. I
So
mean,
nobody's getting 2-1 on their money.
the only thing I have about Chris's play here is that he didn't necessarily know that Eugene was going to bet to his left. And look at this, ace-10's going to make the call. Wow.
Go ahead and let.
I mean, Chris was in the cutoff. He doesn't know the guy on the left's going to bet.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
And there's the extra chip right there.
amazing.
So
So he got the maximum in there, huh?
Luis is going to call for less, and this is about a $200 pot. Luis needs some real help.
Yeah, he needs a 3 or running cards.
Turn is a
Nah,
5.
well, now he's dead.
Yep. There you go.
5's full.
Chris is going to take it down.
And once the 5
5
comes out, obviously he's drawing dead.
Yep.
Chris fills up there. Chris is on fire
Chips.
here.
Seat 4.
And look at that. In 2 hands, Chris wins about $300.
Lines for the next.
And this is a 2-2 game.
Good luck, everybody.
And so the collection for this game, and it's interesting, and this is a game for beginners, but it just goes to show you cannot really be a professional poker in this game, player in this game. The collection for this game name is $3 plus a $1 jackpot drop, which is the same as every no-limit game we have here, all the way up to 10-20.
Right, and you can't. I mean, and
Yeah.
you can't fault the casino for that, obviously.
Right, of
because
course
it's not like the overhead for this game is any different than it would
course
be if
not.
this was a 500.
And you know the thing about the no-limit games is that they actually move slower. You get less hands in per hour than you
Oh,
do
yeah.
some of the limited games. So.
Now, this game is in stark contrast, obviously, to last night's game, where last night we had probably 4 professionals in the game all night long. Tonight, obviously, probably, I would say, no professionals for poker players in
No,
the
it's
game.
really tough.
All recreational players. Players here just have a good time.
Sylvester's going to raise here to 22. Now, Dave, your style, which is raising a lot in position, I don't necessarily know if it's going to necessarily work in this game if you're not deep stack. Now, Sylvester made it 22 to go. He's got 5, 6 of hearts because people are liable just to call you down with anything. You know, you can't necessarily play small pot poker because,
Right.
you know, in a bigger game, they're going to muck middle pair, muck bottom pair, no draw.
Well, you're not getting heads up in this
Yeah.
game. It looks like most of the pots are 4 or 5-handed.
So Sylvester raised to 22, 11 times the big blind, and he got 2 callers. Here we go.
Check.
King 8-6. Chris has got top pair. See how he's going to play it. Remember, Sylvester's the pre-flop raiser. It's a $65 pot.
And I talk about the pool of no-limit players. We continually keep filling them up. These guys will be our next $200 players,
Right.
and so forth.
Look at Sylvester. He's going to push here. He's going to bet 40. He's
Well,
got a
everybody
pair.
check to him.
No, Sarge's going to get away from it. And you know, if you were playing really deep, you might actually be put to a test here with King Queen out of position, but I don't think.
Yeah, I think clearly he was he
Yeah.
checked to check raise. Right?
Look at him. He's mocking the muck. I can't imagine he's going to fold this.
No, I got to imagine this is an act, right?
He folded it. Wow. That's an unbelievable laydown at this level. That is unbelievable. I mean, Sylvester only had another 40 left. Did we?
Wow.
Evelyn, did we have the cards up right?
They put it down.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Getting an affirmative.
I mean,
there
just
from
checked
Evelyn.
and fold with king queen.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. I mean, well, maybe raising in late position will work in this game.
Yeah. It's actually funny. Ronnie, who's been doing the cards for the last couple weeks, is not doing it tonight, and Evelyn stepped in, and she's just a master. Although Ronnie's getting really good at it, too.
Yeah,
Again, we manually input the cards.
Yeah, we'll have to, obviously, we do apologize, folks. Ronnie is on vacation, so please put up with Evelyn tonight.
Pocket jacks here for seat 8. And Tina, big Live the Bike fan, is going to raise it up here.
And look at that. She's got position.
Larry's
got it
called
heads up.
8-6 of clubs.
She's in really good shape.
Well, I'd love to see her fire here at this board if it gets checked to her. Now she's going to go check.
Well, she's in great shape here. I mean, Larry's almost drawing dead. And now Larry is drawing dead.
Check again. Tina's going to check again.
I mean, you can't falter. It's a terrible.
Oh, my goodness. And the board's going to play.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Oh, man.
Wow. Holy cow.
Oh. That's sickening.
Oh, my. Have you ever seen that before?
Oh, not specifically like that, no.
You know, it's funny. People that were watching last night, you commented about Vic Park with a king-high hand actually mucking the hand. Is it pretty safe to just bet right there? I mean, unless you think that Tina's...
Well, I'll put it this way. When the guy checks to me 3 times...
Right.
Yeah.
You laid it down?
That's unbelievable.
And Tina, nice play pre-flop by raising with a jack. She got it heads up and she got position on him. She needs to just put a little bit of a bet in there on the flop, and she takes that down. Oftentimes we get scared. We look at the flop and go, but wait a second, there's 2 overcards to my hand. Yeah, but you don't know what your opponent has.
Right.
And the only way to find out is to throw a little money in there. So throw up a nice pot size bet in there. If you get called, okay, well now you got a little more information.
7-way action here, limped around. King 10-7.
Well, we got top pair here for Chris, but we're open-ended in seat 4.
That's $6.
And seat 6 is going to bet $6 here. That's Larry. He's got pretty much nothing. He's got a backdoor club draw. And another, kind of a little bit of, if he's going to bet that, he should bet a little more if he wants to steal it on the
I
button.
mean, the one thing about this, though, is you can, if you have a draw or a backdoor draw, you can name your price. Look at, he bet $6. And Chris just called with King Queen.
And now Chris is going to come out and bet.
Yeah.
34.
So before he mucked it heads up, and now he's going to bet 34 here with the King Queen.
And Luis is open-ended, but now he's only got 1 card to come.
Time.
I mean, it's a nice flop. I mean, it's a Padugi board.
Right.
There's no flush possible. And problem with the 1 card to come, you got to figure, okay, if my opponent has a king, well, then the queen and jack are not outs. I only have 4 aces and 4 nines. 8 outs with 1 card to come. I'm definitely not getting the odds to call, and he lays it down. Nice lay down.
What was the next card?
Let me ask people on 2+2, what does FYP mean? People kind of say that as thanks. Does that mean for your post? Someone can tell me. Email us, live@thebike.com, and post that up. I always wonder if sometimes people will quote someone and say FYP with a smiley face. So I don't really know what that means. Never knew. Don't know the foreign lingo.
Acronyms.
Okay. Buttons over there in seat
I don't know
7.
any of the internet lingo. All those small little acronyms and stuff. Code words.
How about IMO? It's another one.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, is it, in my opinion? Okay. Limped around here.
6 players.
6-way action. Jack, deuce, 4.
Check around.
Turns a king, couple clubs now. And we got a club draw for seat 4 with queen 4.
And he's got a pair also. I mean, he actually has the best hand, I want to say, doesn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it, but it's going to get over to the button, who's going to bet $6 here. That is...
And Chris is going to call here. He's got a Broadway draw.
Yeah, seat 7 bet with ace 5.
And if offsuit queen comes, no, it doesn't.
The river's a 5. And
Well,
did
Doug-
Doug just back into the best hand
He
here?
did, yeah. I was going to say if a queen comes off, Luis would back into 2 pair, but Chris would have Broadway. He would have a straight.
Right.
Might have seen fireworks there.
Yeah, check. Yeah. Ace high. F4.
And the pair of fives is going to take it down.
So just wondering, Bart, now since you won that big pot, did you finally get your hands on that big purple chip, that big $5,000 chip?
No, I have a couple white, some of these grays here,
Oh, man.
fortunately.
Too bad. We should buy back in the game. You should just go there and get the $5,000 chip
Yeah.
to walk around with it so you can
Right.
feel cool. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. And this is an $80 buy-in game. The blinds are 2 and 2. We're bringing it down a little bit.
Yep.
Try to cater to all our poker audiences. Obviously, everybody out there doesn't have a $50,000 bankroll
Right.
and is playing a big game.
And again, people usually start off in this game. Look at this. I just found another $1,000 chip in my pocket. I was just fooling around.
Just found one.
Yeah.
I do that in the laundry all the time. My wife is doing the laundry. She finds a $5,000.
I thought I was a little
short.
short. 10, 6, 7 here. A couple clubs.
Yeah, most people have like little loose dollars in their pants. No, you have loose $1,000 chips.
$6.
$6 bet here by CD.
Hey, I just want to let everybody know I warned you. I warned you all. Okay, now the pot. I just want to give this. The pot is about $24.
Yep.
Tina's got the best hand here. And when it checks around to Tina, I'd like to see Tina put a nice bet in here.
Well, look at Chris. Now he's going to pair in a flush draw. But
Yeah,
it's
nice
going to get checked around to Tina, and she's going to bet.
Yeah, nice $24 bet here. And it looks like she's going to bet 20. Okay, good. She's betting the pot here. And here it's pretty easy if she gets. Wow, and she gets raised here by Chris. Pretty advanced play.
Yeah, look at that. He's going to mini raise here, and Tina can't beat the. And this might work. Well, no, she's going to push all in. Wow.
And it might not. Tina
Yeah.
snuffed it out.
So we're talking about, again, a pot of what, maybe 150, 160 here?
Yeah, about 110. Not quite, but yeah, somewhere in that range.
So it's 30 more. Chris is getting about 3.5 to 1 with no implied odds. It's a math problem now because she's all in, right?
Oh, he's got a call.
He's got 9 hearts, 2 sevens, and 3 jacks if he figures 2 pair is good. So, yeah, he's definitely, he needs only 2 to 1, and he's getting 3.5 to 1. He's got 15 cards with about 47.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that
45
she's
to come.
moved all in again. Unless you're putting her on 8-9 specifically and you
Yeah.
think only your hearts are good.
Exactly.
Then maybe you can lay it down. But even then,
Here we go to the river. And the river here is a 10, and Tina's going to take it down.
take
with
it
trip
down,
10s.
Mrs. Brown.
Now, it's funny because this, harkens back to bigger games. If you get check raised and you're Chris, you check raise with Jack 7 hearts, and the guy comes over the top of you big, it's not an instant call. You really have to look at it. And sometimes you've got to think of the range of hands, what somebody might come back over the top of you with. If it's a set, your odds are vastly decreased, right?
Or straight, yeah.
If you don't think 2 pair is good, that's an extra 5 outs that you don't have. Remember that.
Well, if you don't think of trips or
Right.
two pair,
Right.
exactly. Oftentimes people will make a play in limit hold'em where they pick up a big draw on the turn and they'll check raise, or they'll raise on the turn, and then when they get re-raised, it's an automatic call, obviously, in
Right.
limit hold'em. In
Right.
no limit, not so.
Yeah.
You've really got to re-examine it. Take your time and look at the pot, figure out how much money you have left, and so forth.
Now, we had a little raise here to 4 chips, so it's $8, and it was Ace Queen Sylvester under the gun. Okay. I think maybe a raise under the gun here in this game is definitely warranted with that hand as a value raise.
Yeah.
Here we go, 4-way action. And he's hit the ace. And look at this. Oftentimes in a lower game, you might see seat 5 pay him off all the way with a dominated hand.
Well,
He's
let's
got
see
ace
what
7.
he does here.
He might just move all in. And
Yeah, if you're in there with a suited ace like that,
yeah.
you're not really looking to hit your ace. It's a bad flop for this die.
Well, he's going to get away from. Well, we've seen 2 laydowns that you wouldn't see at
Well,
this
you know
level.
what? This die, he's a dealer here, and he's
Yeah.
seen that. Maybe he's seen people get dominated. Real good laydown by him.
And that's why I don't like to call raises in early position with suited aces.
I mean, if you can get away from it, if you don't hit trips, 2 pair, or obviously you're flush, and you can get away from it, it's okay.
And again, that's the reason why you don't play suited connect or suited aces up front, because usually you want to be in position so you can manipulate the hand with draws.
Right.
If you've got a bet and you want to raise, well, there's 4 people behind you. You don't know what they're going to do. Whereas if you were last to act, you really, could easily manipulate the hand. Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of any time I would rather be in early position rather than late position.
Right.
I'm just gonna go relax a little bit, enjoy a little poker.
And the two players that actually deal at the bike are actually seat 5 and seat 7,
Right.
not seat 6. Get a raise here
Raise.
from
20.
seat 9 is going to raise here with Jack 10, and seat 1 is going to re-raise with Queen Jack.
Wow.
And Sergey's going to call him, and he's badly dominated here.
Yep.
2 player.
Do you have like
So, 2 players here. Ace Jack 7.
And they both hit second pair here. Chris's kicker will play, obviously.
Yep.
Check it.
Did he say check-in or chicken?
Check, check. Turns a 9.
I could have sworn he said chicken.
And now Sergey looks like he might bet now.
And Sergey here, he's also picked up a straight draw as well. He needs an 8, a 10.
40.
Wow, and he bets $12, and Chris raises him to 40. And Sergey's going to call.
Yeah, I mean, oddly played. They both checked the flop, too.
Right.
I don't know though.
And this pot's about $100 now.
And once again, Sergey needs an 8 or a 10.
And the river's a 9, but this one's going to get chopped up now. 9s and jacks with an ace kicker.
Yeah, the 9 saves him. Obviously, a 7 would have saved him as well.
And it gets checked to Chris, and he's going to move all in here.
Wow.
Maybe he figures he could get the guy off of a chop hand or something. Not scared of the ace. A lot of times this would just go check, check. And if you're Sergey, you know that at best you're a tie, right? And the way that the hand went pre-flop, you got to almost
And
put
he
the guy on
calls
ace.
him.
But he makes the call. And they're going to chop it up here. Wow.
If he doesn't play, yeah.
There you go.
Chop it up. Wow. And I got to tell you, sometimes if you see it, obviously this game is not filled with professionals, but oftentimes you would assume that, okay, it's lower levels, these guys aren't going to be as good. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
I mean, we saw a nice lay down there by seat 5 just a hand earlier with a 7. It just might be that their bankroll is smaller. You know what I mean? Like we see a player in the big game, obviously Allen all the time.
Throw that one out there, huh?
I don't think Allen would beat this game. You know? He's a great guy, but he's not a very good poker player.
It's very true. It's very true. He's my best friend.
I love my mom.
I do too. I love
So FYP is fixed your post. Okay.
my and the one who taught me how to play poker.
FYP, okay. And what was it?
IMO's
In
your opinion.
in IMH, is in my humble opinion, IMHO?
I spent the money 3 ways. Me, myself, and I.
Emailing from Dave Jones. Did I understand you correctly? The blinds total $4 and the rake is $4? Yeah, pretty much. $3 rake plus 1 in the jackpot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, in Los Angeles, not there. In Vegas, obviously, the rake is calculated by the pot size. But in Los Angeles, we're not allowed to do that, and it's just per hand.
5-way action here. I think we had a raise by Eugene to $10 with deuce 4, queen jack 7.
Well, Chris is out flopping all.
Well, see, Eugene's raised here from the button, but again, I don't think that that's really a powerful move in this game, Dave, because people are just liable to call you down with anything.
Yeah.
This is pretty much ABC. It's almost like hopping into like a 2-4 limit game, don't you think? Something like that.
Except obviously you can capitalize on their mistakes a little bit more, where you can actually win a big pot.
Now, Sylvester looked like he wanted to check here. Chris actually has the best hand with queen deuce. He checks, and Eugene's going to follow up with a bet here.
I think I would actually like to see. I almost would not raise very often at all, and I would almost want to just see a lot of flops.
Well, the funny thing is, Eugene and Sylvester play in bigger games together, and Eugene has put the pressure on Sylvester. I think you get away from ace-jack here, obviously in a bigger game, or just, fundamental poker. You got tons of people behind you. You don't really have a spade draw, no straight draw. You get a dry ace-jack with 4 people behind
The
you.
thing is, though, if Sylvester calls, though, I don't think Chris calls. Chris might not even call anyway.
From what we saw before.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he laid down king-queen. Wow, but Luis is going to call, and he moves all in with ace-10.
Ace-10, that's his favorite hand. He did it before. And now it might save. If Chris folds, Eugene can't call.
With 4 high?
He can't call a 2-4. I mean, Luis is going to take it down with the semi-bluff.
And that's a big semi-bluff. I mean, he's got a gut shot.
It's $20 more, and is Eugene going to gamble it up here, try to catch? His running spades wouldn't even be good.
Well, now I think he's looking at the odds, going for $20. How much is the pot?
Well, the pot is almost $130, I think.
So it's 20 to win 130?
Yeah.
So he's getting 6 to 1 on his money. 6.5 to 1 on his money. Problem is, though, he's got to figure that he has to figure that Luis has minimum a queen.
He's probably not, with what these cards are, he's not a 6-to-1 dog. But if someone had a pair in a straight draw, he certainly would be.
Well, the problem is,
And he makes the call.
he makes the call, and he's...
Here we go to the return. Turns a 9. Eugene needs an offsuit deuce or a 4.
I have nothing.
And Luis makes a straight.
Yeah.
Ace to the high.
And does that mean that Eugene is not going to have to show down this hand? Not that maybe a lot of people might be paying attention
Yeah, I
to the
don't
game
think
on this game, but
I'm just curious. King, ace. Straight.
unbelievable.
Looking for an ace to come up or
And Luis takes it down.
Wow.
running spade?
He likes that hand.
Black call would you call?
Now, that's one of those things that you put the guy on a queen, though.
Yeah.
Even though it's only $20 more to win 130, you're getting 6.5 to 1 on your money. But you need some sort of runner to win. Can you call? I mean, probably not, right?
Follow-up email here. So if someone raises and no one calls, is there no drop? Correct. Although there's a reduced drop that we have here when you chop it, or when there's no flop, it's 50 cents. In no limit, $1 in limit. Pocket queens over here for seat 8. That's Tina. And she's going to raise it up. Makes it 12 to go. Okay.
If I bet the flop, are you going to call me?
The what?
If I bet the flop, are you going to call me?
You would have bet the flop? I would've
Pocket queens, couple ladies. And Larry's going to come in here with 10-9 offsuit out of position.
Ace 10, bro. But come on, what did you?
9 deuce 4. Well, Larry's got top pair. Is he going to get stuck here, Dave?
Oh, I don't think Larry's going to go anywhere.
He checks, and Tina's going to come out and bet.
$8.
Not quite enough there. Remember, she raised pre-flop. I'd like to see a little bigger of a bet.
Here we go to the turn. Turns a deuce.
And that's a great card for her, obviously, because now Larry's 2 pair is no good. A 10 is no good here. He needs a 9.
She's going to follow up with another bet.
And he's only got 2 outs.
And he's still thinking about it here.
He's not thinking that hard. He calls.
Yeah, he's going to make the call.
And there you go. See if Tina can really get paid off on the river here. You know, blank comes off. Now, I mean, you can't put this guy on a deuce. You definitely put him on a 9, don't you?
And the river's a 4, and she should really bet here again.
I would imagine, especially if he checks Tina.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like.
Come on, bet it again. There you go. Nice value bet here.
Doesn't look like she's reaching out for that much, but she's going to make a little value bet. $12 here. But she's going to get a call.
Yeah.
And she's going to take it down there with queens. Nice hand, Tina.
And that's one of the things you'll learn as you play more no limit. You'll learn one of the biggest things about playing no limit is how much to bet. And one thing that can be frustrating for a player that really knows how to play in a game like this is oftentimes you'll sense weakness from a player because you go, well, if you had a real hand, you wouldn't just bet that much.
Right.
But oftentimes the players just aren't aware of how much to bet.
So here we go with the chip count. And looks like Larry's going to be down there, Dave, probably in terms of at least maybe $50.
Tina's our chip leader.
Tina's going to be up over 200, and she's the chip leader.
Rock and roll on Tina.
Yeah. Always nice to see fans alive at the bike do well. And she sent us a lot of emails, so she watches the show pretty regularly.
Yeah. Playing a pretty solid game so far. Like I said, if you just bet a little bit more on a couple of those bets.
1, 2, 3, 2 clubs. And Tina's got the best hand here with ace-6.
Yeah, it's ace-rag here. Ace-rag obviously has its limitations.
She's going to bet $6. So she limped in an early position. And I know she's going to go back and watch this, and of course she knows what we're going to say about that. But she's going to take it down.
Right, well ace-rag, you know, you win a small pot or lose a big
Yeah.
one. And obviously that counts. She's going to win a small one.
Right.
And she's already doubled up, more than doubled up here. She's almost made 200% on her money. Pretty impressive.
You know, one of the other funny things about when I was at that table, Dave, with those type players, and they're like, boy, did you just go on tilt? Because I lost a hand with aces a couple hours before. Did you go on tilt from that hand? They just didn't get it.
Please, the game I was playing with you yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was playing, and George Georgian was sitting next to me.
Right. George's a Greek poker god.
Yeah, and I was sitting next to him, and he actually thought, he goes, Dave, you're playing almost every hand.
Recklessly.
Yeah, he goes, Dave, are you on tilt or something?
Right,
He actually
right.
said the same thing to me, and I was like, why? What do you
Right.
think I'm on tilt? I was...
Look, a raise. Sylvester's going to make it $8 to go. He's got ace-jack offsuit.
Free food. I need them on. Just go eat your drink.
And Larry is going to call with king-deuce offsuit out of position. And Eugene's going to call with king-8 suited.
Put you guys out.
Here we go, 3 ways. Queen, 9, deuce. Sylvester's got the nut flush draw. And Larry's got the second nut flush
Yeah,
draw.
I mean, I got to tell you, and Larry's got a pair, but if a club comes out, Larry could be in trouble.
It's going to get checked to Sylvester, and he's going to continue to bet here.
And he's not messing around. He's betting a real amount.
Well, Sylvester's a good player. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's putting somebody to test here.
Yeah.
But Larry's got the best hand so far.
Yeah, he's got king deuce with king of clubs. And he's going to call.
40, earlier he was playing.
Wow. And Larry thinks he wants a club, but he doesn't want a club, obviously.
Did they have poker there too? Wayne Gardens?
Turns to 3. He's still good right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sylvester needs a jack, an ace, or a club.
And Sylvester checked right behind him on the turn. And there's the river. The river's an ace, and he gets it.
Yeah, Sunday night tournaments.
And it gets checked to him, and now he's going to bet, figuring that the ace is the best hand.
And he's
gonna
going to
bet a
bet
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's betting over bet the pot here, trying to get a call.
Yeah. And he's going to take it down. Now, a more advanced play, again, relative to stack size, is that instead of Larry calling on the flop, he could make a check raise. Now, Sylvester wasn't going anywhere. But
No.
pair with the second nut flush draw from up front, that can definitely be a powerful move.
Well, yeah, well, if Sylvester doesn't catch a club or his ace, obviously,
Right.
he'll probably get off the hands.
On the river, I know how to best hand.
Buttons moved over there to Larry in seat 6.
Should have bet on the turn. Yeah.
And anybody that was following live at the bike a couple nights ago, Eugene was in the game a couple nights ago. He played the 3 to 5 game, had a rough go of it. But he's back for more.
All in, 12.
And he's moving all in here with King-Queen offsuit.
Yeah. Well, seat 1 raised it up to $6 with Queen 9 of clubs under the gun, and seat 2's all in with King Queen. For 12, and seat 7's got 9-10 offsuit. He's going to fold. And
Well, hey, you know what? I mean, Eugene's in great shape here. We saw one of the 9s dead.
Yeah.
One of your cards, so.
Eugene actually has
Oh,
King Queen, but look at this. A 9 comes off. Wow.
that's brutal.
Eugene needs a king now.
Yeah, you're dominating him now.
Turns a 7.
6.
River's a 4.
That's brutal. There's only 2 9s left in the
Yeah.
entire deck, and he catches one of them.
Again, when I go out in tournaments that way, even though the odds are just about the same, I hate that. Like if I go out, say, with ace king against ace queen more than I do if I go out against like kings versus ace king. The dominated hand.
Do you? Yeah.
The odds are just about the same.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I hate more. I hate them both. They both
Yeah.
suck. I mean, to be honest with you, the one I think I hate the most is if I go out and it's my mistake.
Right.
3-4.
If it's a mistake I made, then I'm really
Perfect
upset.
play, you know, on a 500.
So you've played a lot of No Limit. You must be geared up for the Invitational.
I
the
am.
World Poker Tour
Definitely.
Invitational.
Anybody who plays on full tilt, again, I kind of stopped playing there because they didn't give me a bonus. But Gavin Smith actually wrote a recent article, and they sent out an email blast about how to play small pot poker. And actually, in his tournament, he actually talks a lot about the strategy we use, raising with semi-connected junk in late position and betting the flop and not risking a lot. 5-way action. I don't know if anybody saw that article. King, deuce, deuce, couple clubs, 8-4 clubs over there for Tino. She's going to check it from up front on flush draw.
Time.
You know, the funny thing is, my wife was asking me, she goes, so I was telling her, I go, No Limit Hold'em is all about picking who you want to play against. And she
Right.
goes, well, how can I do that? I don't know when I'm going to get my big hands. I go, forget your big hands. I go, pick the guy you want to play against and then raise his big blinds,
Tina's made a flush here, and she's going to come out and bet.
regardless of what you have.
She's going to bet $6 here. I'm sure she's hoping that someone's sandbagging a deuce, but no one has anything here. Larry actually picked up a pair of 5s. Might he call here? You never know. He's in late position. And he's going to call.
He's going to call here, and he's not drawing dead here. Needs a deuce or a 5.
And the river's a 4. And he might call again. She's going to bet a little bit again. She bets 16.
Next time I'm gonna
$16 into about a $25 pot.
Diamonds?
And he's going to call.
Did you say diamonds? Okay, Paul.
And Tina is going to take it down.
And Tina is running this table over.
I mean, obviously, you know, the more and more we watch this game, I mean, people are just starting out on this game, so we're not going to be harsh or critical on people.
Oh, of course
You
not.
know, I mean, it's just...
Like, these guys are obviously recreational players. They're here to have a good time. They're here to learn how to play.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you know, the funny thing, I mean, I haven't seen anybody who are professional poker players in the 80 game, but I see guys who come and play in the stud high-low game who do it professionally, want to learn No Limit, and they'll hop into a $100 or $200 game to try to learn it. See that all the time. Button moves over here to seat 8.
You're not going to play the 40 here,
Tina's going to limp in here.
I mean, I noticed actually the limit crop Annie Lou
Right.
playing in the no limit game again today. 2 days in a row. Is she starting to try to learn how to play no limit?
Well, she's in for a rude awakening because she has no idea about bet size. And I told you I made a $1,000 bluff on her too, right before that hand.
Oh, I can't do that.
He's been kind of quiet.
But I'm
over
just
here,
wondering though. I mean, is that what she's? I mean, is that her her MO now?
Wow, look at this. Small blind. Surge is going to pretty much re-raise all in after it gets limped around to him. Actually, there was a little bit of a raise. Surge has got pocket eights. Seat 5, Deste there raised with King Jack. And Surge has moved all in. So Deste raised it to 8, and he's kind of short here, but, you know,
$46.
maybe you can pick up your spots a little bit better. Well, he's going to make the call. He's got 2 overcards.
Yep. We pretty much got a race here, folks.
Yep.
Hold on. Yeah.
Sergey's probably about a 54-46 favorite here.
Right.
Classic race situation, and this pot is what, about $60?
That's why.
King Jack versus 8s. They turn him over, just like a tournament, folks. Yeah, good flop for 8 so far.
Yep. Deste needs to dodge, or needs to pick up a King or a Jack and dodge an 8. Turns a 9. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Sergey's going to win the hand now. And obviously this die calling with King Jack there obviously is put yourself in a vulnerable spot.
Because the guy could be moving in with Ace King or Ace Queen.
Or queens.
Queens and overpair.
I mean, that's pretty much
even Ace Jack, right?
8s are pretty much what you're basically hoping you're only a 54-46 underdog.
Yeah.
That's the best that can
You
be.
want a pocket pair below Jacks. That's what you want to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, so you know you're an underdog. It's just a matter of how much of an underdog you're going to be. So, thanks for the emails, everybody. We do appreciate them.
Yeah, we got some more emails. A bunch of people emailing us about FYP.
Betting disc. He was saying that over that the other day with betting disc. I'm like, huh?
This one looks like it's limped around. Sylvester's got top pair, 4-way action. Chris has got a flush draw here. Chris has got a flush draw and a pair in seat 1. Jack 5 of hearts.
That's $12.
Double the blind.
And Larry has bet here. Sylvester checked the queen from up front. Chris is going to call. Is Sylvester going for a check raise here?
Oh, God.
Actually, I think maybe, no, Sylvester came out and bet. Now Sylvester's got a flush draw. Chris checks. Sylvester looks like, wow, and they're just going to check it down. Sylvester's got top pair and a flush draw, and he hits a flush at the end.
And Chris has made 2 pair. Let's see if Chris pays them off.
No, they just agreed to check it
Did
down
they?
there
Okay.
at the end on the turn.
I got an email here from Darren Teal talking about Riverboat Kings. He says, how would you play in a 10-20 limit game at a 12-handed table with 5 to 7 of the players being Riverboat Kings? So meaning horrible players. He also says, love the show. Man, 10-20 limit game at a 12-handed game with 5 to 7 of the players being Riverboat Kings, pretty much, calling stations to the river. How do you play? Very carefully, I suppose. Obviously, you want to be playing, hands that play well multi-way. King Queen offsuit, King Jack offsuit go way down in value, while 8-7 suited hands like that go up in value. You want to play in position. And you've got to understand that you've got to be content in winning 1 or 2 pots even an hour. Because 1 or 2 pots an hour can make you enough money to be profitable tonight. You can't expect to win a lot of hands. When even if you have aces there, if 5 to 7 players are chasing you hand after hand after hand, there's no way you're going to win. Well, I mean, there's a way you can win, but you're not a favorite. I'll put it that way. So, hope that answers your question. Thanks for the email.
Okay, blinds up.
Button moves over to seat 3. Once again, the blinds are 2-2 in this game.
Last time you did that, I think I had something really good. Can you do it again?
There it is, live at the bike.
3 betting discs.
Bringing live cash games to your home on a nightly basis, folks, 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time.
Good morning, me? Yeah, 2 more checks.
You get a little raise from seat 5 here with ace-10 offsuit. And we get it 4 ways now. The flop is 8-5-3, 2 hearts. Chris has the best hand here. He's got top pair with Jack 8. And he checks it, though. And the button Sylvester's going to bet it with ace-10 of diamonds. He's got no pair, no draw. Let's see if Chris gets involved. No, Chris is going to lay it down, and Sylvester wins it. And that's the second time we've seen Chris lay down top pair.
Diamonds. Throw down?
Once again, we really do appreciate the emails from everybody.
I'm not lying.
Try to keep the show as interactive as possible.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Get another question here from David Dodds here. Says, hey, Bart and Dave, I was wondering how hard it is to get on the show. Could I just show up and get on the table, or is there a huge wait to the table?
Well, depending on the game. Actually, the smaller games are a little bit more difficult, but if you show up, a couple hours early, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, well, he says he thinks he's a great player, and that he could dominate all the fish that he's seen on the show. And he loves watching the archives and hearing us talk about the show. Come on down and jump in the game.
Limped around here, king, 6, king. No one has a king, and we got ace 6 over here for seat 9.
Make sure you say hi when you come down.
And this one gets checked around. The turn is a 7. Now, wait. Larry's going to bet $6. Serge calls. Larry's open-ended now. Little semi-bluff. Serge made the call there with ace 6. And the river is an ace, and he's got 2 pair here, which doesn't really... Well, he's got aces and kings. The 6 obviously does not play.
Right.
Is Larry going to need to bluff at it here? He's missed everything.
Well, I don't think there's no way he's going to get Sergey. Sergey's probably going to bet this.
Yeah.
He's going to bet it for value.
24.
Well, thinking maybe I can get paid off by a 6 or a 7. Tough to put somebody in an ace there, huh?
Yep. Sergey's got that salt and pepper hair thing going, huh?
Yeah. Works for him.
Button moves over here to seat 5.
A couple of new features we have going on at liveatthebike.com. If you want to check out our Pokulator, which is our card calculator, you can check it out. Just go to liveatthebike.com. On the left-hand side is a Pokulator.
That's right. Pocket Queens over here for seat 2. That's Eugene.
I mean, I wonder how much of an underdog you were. Flop of ace 4, 10, 2 diamonds. You have deuce 3 offsuit, and your opponent has pocket aces.
Well, with 2 random cards to come, it's probably a 92 to 8%, I would say, something like that. Eugene's going to take it down there. He does not get action with the queens. But again, we talk about I was deep, the other guy was deep. I was calling for a number of different reasons. If you had 3 aces, maybe I wouldn't have called, obviously. But I felt against a tight player, you can represent all kinds of things in position, especially with an ace out there,
Why do you feel the need to defend yourself?
No, I'm just saying that a lot of people don't understand the fundamentals of that. Even the guys that were
in your balls.
The guys that were playing on the table don't really
Didn't
understand
it,
it.
of course.
Yeah,
Right. Obviously, there are a lot of hands that you can get him off of.
Yeah.
And once again, if you end up putting him on pocket aces and you don't hit your hands, it's an easy muck for you.
Right.
It's not like you're going to get stuck in there with deuce 3.
Say a diamond came, I raised, and he came back over the top or something like that.
Right.
Or he probably wouldn't have come back over the top. But King 10, 9 here, a couple clubs. The offsuit 5 was pretty much the best card I could have seen.
Oh.
Yeah.
The nut hand, the nut card.
Take it, man.
Chris has got top pair here, and he checked it, Dave. Boy, Chris has checked his hands a lot. Turns a 10.
He tries to play it a little tricky.
Did he even raise preflop? He's checked again, and now Sylvester's going to bet with ace 9. Think he's got the best hand.
Wouldn't you think you had the best hand here? I mean, think about it. You'd think anybody would bet a king. The likelihood of somebody having a 10 are very slim now. So you probably think that your 2 pair, ace 9, is probably good. And you imagine Chris is probably going to call this, right?
Yeah, I don't know why Chris is not putting his own money in the pot. Well, now he's going to check raise. Oh, no, he's just going to call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he wants 2 pair or better.
And the river here is a queen, and now anyone with the jack would have a straight. He checks. Yeah, and Sylvester's just going to give up. And I wonder what Sylvester's going to look like if Chris turns over ace. Well, he didn't get a great look at his face, but again.
Well, you have to almost expect that in a game like this where you're just going to be surprised time
Sometimes
and time again.
when people turn over different cards, you're going to be a little bit surprised.
I mean, you see that sometimes even in the 20-40 limit game.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody will turn over like trips on the river, and you're going,
well,
you didn't bet that?
well, that, yeah.
You're like just.
Well, the bad beats in limit hold'em are to be expected.
Well, no, I'm not saying the bad beats. Sometimes you see somebody checking the river with what you're like, wow, you actually thought your hand was good
Right.
because they checked it. And obviously, you'll see some strange planes in this game tonight.
Limped around here.
Okay, 6 player.
6-way action.
$12 pot right away.
All diamonds here. And seat number 1, Chris, he's flopped a queen high flush. See how he's going to play it, Dave.
I check my flush.
You know what?
He checks it.
Chris is flopping flushes and straights, and
Sylvester's going to bet with middle pair and an overcard.
Doug throws away the jack of diamonds.
And again, it's going to be heads up between these two guys. Let's see how Chris is going to play.
Sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was another player.
Can't imagine he's going to get any more money out of Sylvester. He just checked calls.
Keep on chasing your flush every single time.
Turns a king. Now he might get some money. Sylvester's got 2 pair.
Yeah.
He checks.
It's really tough to put him. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sylvester thinks he has the best hand here. Tough to put Chris on
Going
a
to bet
flush.
50.
All in.
And look at this, an instant check raise all in.
Yeah,
And
you know-
Sylvester beat him in the pot. Oh, the river's a king!
Oh,
And
my.
Sylvester makes a running full house.
Wow.
Holy cow. I was going to say, I wondered if Sylvester was going to take a second there to think about that one.
And that's one of
Wow.
those things where I'm really surprised he did actually call so quickly
Yeah.
with 2 pair. If you're faced with a player in the table like this,
Right.
who's showing you strength,
Like quick strength like that. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think he's got?
That's
I mean, could he
unbelievable.
have worse than King 6?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't put him on a flush, do you think maybe he has King 9?
That is unbelievable.
Running full house,
Yeah.
and Sylvester doubles up there. What a bad beat by Chris.
He nailed you. You shouldn't have let him
What a
catch
bad
it.
beat for Chris there.
Yep.
You caught it.
Wow.
But moves over here to seat 9.
See SP surfing on
You shouldn't let him catch it.
the 2+2 post. Hey, Michael.
You know, the other funny thing, as I continue to talk about that hand, Dave, is what are the chances that when we run the river 3 times, I win all 3 of them as well?
Well, he's got 10 outs, right?
So he's basically got about a
He's got a 1 in 4 chance there.
25% chance. And
Not
then-
quite, a little under actually. It's got 21% chance there.
So 20 times 20 times 20. Well, it would be
I mean, if you run it 3 times,
basically the way you do this odds is it's 8 out of 10 for me times 8 out of 10 times 8 out of 10.
Right.
It's actually he's got a little bit over a 54% chance of winning at least one
Right.
of the time.
yeah, I mean, he's actually in really bad shape. I mean, he's only got 10 outs with 1
Right.
card to come.
Right.
You know, you take away your 2 cards and his 2 cards, you know, that means 34 good cards for you, only 10 for him.
But I got to tell you, he didn't even know about running a deal, and I immediately brought it up to him. I know you don't like to do that, but I just didn't want to get involved. I was like,
Right.
let's run it 3 times.
You never know. Hey, you run it once and you can really get screwed. You figure with a straight there, obviously, if you run it 3 times, you're pretty much guaranteed. Not well, never guaranteed, but
Right.
you're in good shape to win 2 out of 3 at least.
Right.
It's always
again,
nice
more-
when you win the first 2, huh?
Well, again, more often than not, you're going to win at least 2 out of 3, and almost half of the time, 3 out of 3.
Right.
And again, you know, there was a little bit of discussion on the board yesterday, at the end of the board, about running it a couple times, and Jonas, Riverboat King, responded. It does not affect the expected value whatsoever. Sometimes people think that it does because they don't randomly reshuffle the deck, but if you
Yeah.
take it as an independent event before the 3 times, it
Yeah.
does not affect anything.
Yeah, I mean, I actually got confused myself there.
Right, right.
I want to say 8-9 months ago, we had
Yeah.
a long conversation with that, and I kind of got confused at that. But obviously, no, it does not affect the expected value. What was Jonas's view on running it, by the way?
You will call. Come on.
We'll get to this here. Sylvester's raised here with pocket 7s. And Serge is called with a suited ace here. He's in position on Sylvester.
He's in bad shape, the only 1 overcard.
Yeah. Queen, deuce, 4. See how Sylvester's going to play it. Only 1 overcard here on the flop to his 7s.
That's a great flop for 7s.
And he's going to bet.
I should?
Serge says he doesn't believe. I don't believe you.
You might not believe him, but so what does Sergey have? Ace high here. It's one of those things, you know, if Sylvester's bluffing with ace jack or ace king or ace 10, can you beat that?
Really proud of those cards.
And he's going to take it down. Well, Jonas's view, actually, he was trying to correct the person that was writing about how it changes the expected value. He was trying to explain that. But also, I think he was also leaning towards what you lean towards, is that sometimes it takes out the fear that you want to instill upon opponents when you're making an all-in either with a draw or if they're trying to call an all-in with some sort of a draw.
Right. Well, I mean, there were a couple of times I've actually moved all in on somebody,
Yeah.
and the guy actually said to me, he goes, if I call, will you make a deal?
Right. Right.
You know,
And then you
all,
start- yeah.
all I could say to him, I said, you have to call. I'm not telling
Right.
you.
Of course not. Of course. Yeah.
You know, make the call or not.
Because that's going to extremely affect your fold equity. I mean,
Of course,
a
well, if
person would
somebody's
be
not-
an idiot to answer that question, even if you were going to run a deal.
Right. Well, if somebody's not, the fear factor is a huge part
Right.
of no limit hold'em.
Right.
And if you take away that fear, well, then people are more apt to call you down.
Absolutely.
Raise 3 chips.
Save yourself some little chips by raising a little lesser. I raised 5 is too much. I have to raise 5 though because I do this with.
We play this game with green chips. Look, those are $2 chips.
Obviously, no, but this time.
7-way action here,
like
limit
a
around.
queen, it's over.
10, 5, 6, couple diamonds. Now Luis has got a flush draw here.
Yeah, the
Jack,
Sty's
three
are the
of
best
diamonds.
hand here, though, right? 7-6.
Well, he's got a flush draw as well.
Yeah, nice
2
flop
flush
right on.
draws. Yeah. But it gets checked around, Dave.
Wow.
Eugene's got a gut shot.
Uh-oh.
And look at this flush over flush here.
Yep.
Luis against Destai. And I don't think seat 5 has that much money. But look at Sylvester. He's going to lead with ace-queen.
Yeah, bad luck here for this Sty. Kind of steps into it here.
So Sylvester leads with ace-queen here.
Actually, no, this Sty's got almost $80.
Yeah, that's not...
Yeah, he rebought when he broke with the King Jack.
Now, how is seat 4 going to play it? Obviously, he's going to raise. He's moved all in here, it looks like. Or he's raised
No,
it.
he's raised it
Raised
up.
it to 80.
Well, okay, that's going to push the Sty all in, but the Sty's got a flush here. He's got a 7-high flush. Can he get away from this hand?
No, how can he get away from a flush?
And he's drawing
like this?
dead.
It's just one of those spots. I mean, the game
Right.
is just not that deep.
Now, generally in a game like this, unless you're playing with a Maniac, nice shot of Denny and
Yeah.
Hashem there. Unless you're playing with a Maniac, generally strength means strength. You know,
Right.
if somebody's betting, they've got it. And the Sty calls with the flush.
Yeah, obviously.
And he's drawing dead.
Drawing dead. And I'm sure that Sylvester is going to fold here. Unless he thinks both guys are on draws here, but Sylvester is also drawing dead.
Yeah, but this is one of those times where, you know what? You just got to pick your spots better here. All you got is top pair, top kicker. You've got an all-in raise and then an all-in call. Your ace-queen can't be good here. I mean, unless you think somebody's making this like, let's say Luis has king-queen with the king of diamonds, and seat 5 has the ace of diamonds with, say, like a 10.
Well, remember, though, Luis has turned over ace-10 a couple times, and it didn't make any sense. Maybe Sylvester thinks that both guys are just calling with some sort of diamond draw and a pair.
Well, yeah,
You
I mean,
know?
if you dismiss Luis as having nothing, well,
Yeah.
then you just got to worry about seat 5. But there are some times where you can look even more into it. You can go, wait a second. Maybe seat 5 knows that seat 4's got nothing.
Right.
I don't think we should get that deep to a table like
And
this.
this is a pretty big pot here. I mean, we're talking about probably close to, it's about a $180 pot, and Sylvester needs to call maybe $60 more. So, getting about 3 to 1. And again, I think what he's thinking is that these guys could be calling with anything, especially seat 4.
I mean, often the reason I bring that up is oftentimes you play in a game where there's one kind of maniac or one kind of player that's not really rational,
Right.
and he affects the entire table.
And look
Anybody?
at Sylvester. He's prodding seat 5 to figure out what he has, and he's going to get rid of it. Nice laydown.
Yeah, I think he thinks that he has seat 4 beat, but not seat 5. And Luis is going to take it all.
Flush over flush.
Yeah, bad luck for the Sty.
Wow.
Well,
A couple of things are
There you go.
And Luis has suddenly got a huge stack in front of him now.
He does.
Now, this game becomes really interesting. If you've got $200, $300 in front of you, and it's only a 2-2 blind game,
Jack high flush.
wow.
Queen high, I should say.
He's still call.
I mean, talk about implied odds there, huh?
Did he call?
No, he didn't call.
He called.
He went all in, yeah, but he had a 7-6.
So the button's going to move over here. Look, it looks like a star over there. Look at that reflection.
Now, I was just saying, Bart, talk about implied odds in a game where you've got, if you have $300 behind and the blinds are only 2 and 2,
Right.
I mean, I don't care if a guy shows me. I mean, you can almost call with any 2 cards. In some cases, if you think you can get paid off to the tilt of $300.
And again, people sometimes don't realize that, yeah, you're calling for implied odds, but if you're a good post-flop player and you're in position, you got to take that into account too.
Exactly. You don't necessarily need to hit your hand.
fight.
As long
Just
as your
play off of
opponents,
each other.
as long as your opponents miss their hand, you can usually take it away.
I mean, I was ridiculous over there this afternoon because these guys, they would raise with ace-king, get it heads up, and then check the flop when they missed, and then just check it down or just fold to a bet, Seat 1's going to raise it up to $10 here. He's got ace-jack offsuit.
I mean, you love playing with players like that. They might as well basically turn their hand face up and then play against you.
Three flames.
Three-way action here.
I can't even beat it.
King, deuce, queen. Chris is the pre-flop raiser. And if he actually led at this flop, he would most likely take it down.
You raised. What talking about?
He's got a gut shot, but he's going to check it, and Sylvester takes the card.
Me and stuff.
Turns to 6, and now Sergey's got the best hand.
Yep. Sylvester's picked up a draw. He's got a gut shot straight draw. And Sergey's going to bet his 6. And Chris is going to call, I think. I mean, he checks, and now he calls with ace-jack. And Chris actually needs an ace, a jack, or a 10 to win this hand. Sergey has the best hand.
Two flames.
And we're heads up. Here we go to the river. River's at 3.
And
I think that...
yeah, Sylvester's laughing because he had 4-5.
Yeah, he had a gut shot, and he made it at the end.
Take tips.
And Sergey's going to... What that little blocker bet there? He's going to bet 6 chips. Chris has missed totally.
Well, this is another one of those times. Is there any value to really betting here? Can you get your opponent off a king or a queen?
Well, but the other thing, though, too, is maybe he doesn't want to face a check and then some sort of bluff move all in. It's another thing to think about. Again, at this level, I mean, obviously, as you move up, blocker bets are easily sniffed out for their weakness. At this level, I don't necessarily know if they are. Now, I'm actually a big fan. People have named me stop bet aficionado on 2+2. I'm actually a big fan, Dave, of the reverse stop bet. And what I mean by that is, say you're out of position, coming out on the turn or on the river when you make a hand and making your bet look like you're trying to name your price, wanting the guy to go over the top of you. That's obviously an advanced play that can be used. Yeah.
I'll actually say about a year ago, I was in a hand with Jonas.
Yeah, I think I remember this you were saying.
Yeah, and I had ace-king. The flop would come out with an ace.
Right.
And the turn gave Jonas... And there was a flush draw on the board.
Right.
And I thought maybe Jonas had the flush draw. And the turn actually gave him 2 pair.
Right.
And he bet into me what I thought was a blocker bet.
Right.
And I raised him. And then he re-raised me, and I was pot committed, and
Right.
he had 2 pair. And he actually told me that he meant it as a kind of a fake blocker bet, hoping that I would think that it was a blocker bet. So, got to give him credit, obviously. And in that one instance, he outplayed me badly.
3 more chips to come.
We had a little raise here by Chris with ace deuce of diamonds. Eugene is going to call with ace 10 of clubs.
I mean, it's the thing I love about poker. I mean, it's like a chess game where you can constantly outmaneuver your player and try to think one step ahead of what they're thinking.
And actually, it was Eugene that brought this one in for a raise here. Chris called out a turn. The flop comes queen 7-3. So Eugene's the pre-flop leader here.
Hope Eugene continues. He should take this down.
Well, everybody's missed.
And Eugene actually has the best hand still. So.
Yeah. And he's going to make a bet here.
Chris having a nice shrimp cocktail there.
I don't even know what that is.
He's going to bet 16 here. Well, Larry just doesn't have anything.
Well, he's got a runner straight draw.
And the backdoor diamonds.
You can't dismiss that lightly.
Wow. No way.
Well, Eugene, you had the best hand.
Cannot be.
I know what I like. There you go.
There you go. Do you like raw celery?
I do.
You do? Yeah. A little bit of like, I mean, they always serve that with like hot wings. And being from upstate New York, you're huge wings. That's actually, buffalo wings country.
Yeah.
Hence buffalo wings.
Right.
Right. If you go to a pizza place up there, they always serve wings with pizza.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a mandatory thing.
No, yeah, I'm a big texture fan. Anything that's crunchy, I like. Like I like celery, I like carrots. I'm not a big mushy person.
You don't like super steamed broccoli mushy like I do.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I love that stuff.
I like steamed broccoli, just don't kill
You don't
it.
like
you know?
you don't want it overcooked.
I don't want it steamed for 4 hours.
You want it more like al dente. Do you like your pasta al dente?
Depends. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it overcooked. I mean,
Yeah.
Option.
Limped around here.
If you weren't in it, you would really
4-way action.
4 flames.
Here we go to the flop. King, queen, queen.
everybody's missed.
A couple people have straight draws here. Jack 9 and 10-9. Larry actually has 10-9. He doesn't have pocket nines.
Well,
the turn's a 10.
Jack 9 has made it.
And Larry has a pair now. And Larry's going to come out and bet with
Yeah, but this
10-9.
guy's got it straight.
I think he was in the game.
He's going to bet $6 with 10-9.
And let's see what the Sty does here.
Larry's got 10-9. He's got a pair of 10s. He makes the bet. Destai, he's got the straight, and he's going to raise.
Chips.
And can Larry get away from 10-9 here? And he's actually got the 10 of clubs and the 9 of diamonds.
Because I remember the...
He's going to raise it up to 20.
Once again, we do apologize. Ronnie is out tonight. We've got to
Yeah.
deal with Evelyn
Yeah, we have
tonight.
a
Sorry.
substitute in here. The funny thing is, you wonder if she's even listening to what we say.
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
I only play here.
Sometimes I wonder if anybody listens to what we say.
Look at Serge is going to call here. He's got a flush draw, the nut flush draw.
So Mo, I know he's professional.
Well, let's see what happens. The Sty has not had his luck here. Let's see if he can survive this one.
And Larry has money on the side. And Larry was actually drawing live. The river's a 6. He could have filled up.
Yeah, and Destai survives it there. Obviously, yeah, Larry needed a 10 or a queen.
Desai's going to bet, and obviously Sergey missed. And there you go. Took a kind of a bad beat with the lower flush a couple hands ago. He's going to bring it back there with Jack 9.
Kind of a cold deck there, huh?
Yeah. Let's see if Larry's going to rebuy here.
Take it down, Destai.
Desai's a dealer here? I don't reckon. Does he deal up on the poker section?
He does. I think he deals mostly mid-limit games.
Okay.
Green chip and blue chip games.
Which is
When I
actually
say-
a lot of money in those games, right?
Yeah, when I say green chip and blue chip games, those are 3-6 games. Actually, two 4 games all the way up to 8-16.
One of the other funny things, too, about that pot earlier, Dave, was the guy almost got mad at me because he had about 5 blues left after the hand. I tipped the dealer $1. It was about a $4,700 pot. And he's like, you tipped her $1 here, and he threw like $8 to the dealer. But in actuality, I'm not being an ass. It's a logistical thing. I tip the dealer $1 every pot that I win, regardless of how big the pot is.
Right.
I mean, those are the types of things you have to think about when you're a professional poker player.
Well, if you start tipping,
Right.
you know, if you suddenly start tipping $5 here, $5 here, $10 here, $10 there, man, it makes it, your overhead becomes really high. It's tough to beat the game.
Yeah.
You know, you start thinking about how much money you tip for the
Right.
year. You know, you start throwing away $15,000 in tips.
Little raise here with ace king here by seat 2. Sylvester's going to call with a suited ace 6 of diamonds. Look at this, 3 pocket pairs, pocket 3s, pocket 7s, and pocket deuces, all in the hand.
I mean, ace king in there, and ace king. Hey, you know what? Ace king is behind, obviously, but hey, if he hits an ace or a king, he's good.
So let's see if we see a set here.
There. Oh wow.
King, queen, deuce, and look at that. Sergey's got bottom set, and
and
Eugene's hit top pair.
Yeah, this is a
And look at Sergey lead right into the set.
This is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful flop
Yeah.
for a set of deuces. I mean, you got to love it there. You're almost hoping somebody's got king, queen, ace, king. I mean, you know somebody's hit it.
And look at this. The pre-flop raiser's going to raise it up. How often do we preach this type of play and we don't see it at the higher levels?
You know what? Sometimes the beginners actually play it closer to the way they should play it because their instincts say, well, I've got a good hand, so I'll bet it.
You have 2 pairs?
And Sergey is going to move all in here.
Okay, I cannot get away from this hand, so...
And Eugene says, I can't get away from the hand. Sergey bet right into the pre-flop raiser, and he's going to get paid off.
Sorry, dude.
That's okay. Wow.
Nice
And Eugene's
hand.
almost drawing dead. Well, not
Well,
anymore.
he can catch a 10 here for a straight. Boy,
Yep.
would that be a bad beat.
Oh, wow.
It's an ace.
Two
Sergey's
pair
gonna take it
there.
down.
Nice hand.
And Sergey takes down with a set of deuces there, trips deuces.
I'm going to tell you that, if I was paying attention, now sometimes if I play at a lower limit, sometimes they ask me to hop into a $100 game early in the afternoon. I've got to be honest with you, sometimes I'm daydreaming in that game. If I was paying attention to that hand, my eyebrows would kind of raise up a little bit about how that hand was played.
Well, you know, I always point out, I go, a lot of times, you know the saying, a little bit of information can be dangerous?
Right,
And oftentimes what happens is you'll see a player who's a beginner poker player,
Right.
and their instincts say, well, I have a good hand, why wouldn't I bet it?
right.
And then suddenly the players start getting a little bit better, a little more knowledge, and they start thinking, oh, wait a second, I want to get paid off. So let me
Right.
slow play.
Right.
And it's not until later on that they realize, wait a second, you know what? Maybe that's backwards play. Instead
Right.
of doing that, maybe I should bet it.
Right.
And you'll almost see a poker player, you know, learn, and you'll see them graduate and move on and on and on. But oftentimes beginners actually play it closer to the way they should play it, at least in our opinion. I mean, great play by seat 9. I mean, imagine he slow played it all the way to the river. You wonder if he gets paid off there because it's
Action
such
killer,
scary-
action killer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a scary board.
Little raise here by seat number 3. Actually, seat 2 raised. He's playing 100 behind. I guess, Dave, if you go down to felt in this game, you can buy back up to 120, kind of time and a half like we do. He raised with King Jack of Diamonds. Sylvester's just smooth call with Ace Queen. We got some other cards in there. Well, Sylvester's hit top pair. Now, Desta's open-ended with the King 10, and Eugene's got second pair. Eugene's going to bet 20. That's a little under about half the size of the pot.
Is Larry going to get in trouble here? We've seen Larry have trouble getting away from hands. Is Larry going to get in trouble with top pair, no kicker?
Pot's 50 now. Let's see how Sylvester's going to play it with Ace Queen. It's a $50 pot. Oftentimes, this can be a trouble hand, especially with a couple people that act behind you.
Well, Eugene's put him to the test here. Normally, you'd like to be in late position and see what everybody else does.
Right.
But it's almost like he's now got to act, and he's almost in raise or fold situation with 2 more players behind him. You don't want to call and leave 2 players in there.
Sometimes, because I'll often play this hand, even in early position, maybe to a raise. I might mini raise here, Dave, just so that I can get off of it if somebody moves powerfully behind me. And if somebody calls behind me, you got to really evaluate what's going on.
The thing is that it's such a draw-heavy board. If somebody has King 10, like Sty has, or if somebody has spades, it's hard to know where somebody's at.
But normally, as we get up to the levels that we play, unless they have a mega draw, like a spade and a straight draw, if I raise in this spot, they're not going to call with a pure flush draw, right?
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. Yeah. It's difficult in a game like this to gauge, though, where they're at, because you might get somebody to call you incorrectly with a flush draw in a game like this.
Now, Sylvester raises and Larry gets away from it.
Hey, I want to give the Sty credit there and Larry credit there. The Sty throws away a straight draw with a 2 flush out there.
Right.
And Larry gets away from Queen Deuce very easily. Nice raise there by Eugene. By Sylvester.
Let's see how much he's made it. Looks like 23 chips, so that's $46 more. And the pot now is about 146 to call.
You guys must be good friends, huh?
No.
And they're discussing this. I think Eugene's trying to figure out what he's got. I like the stab Eugene took. I like throwing a little bet out there and seeing where you're at. But you got the information. Throw it away now, right?
So he's still thinking about it here. Do you want to get involved? Now, Eugene and Sylvester know each other because they play bigger. They'll play 200, 3 to 5.
We've even seen Sylvester take a shot in the $1,000 game.
I actually spoke to Eugene on the phone this afternoon. He called in around 1 o'clock. He wanted to play in whatever game that we spread.
Cool. Good to know.
I said it might have been an $80 game. He said, fine.
It's a great learning tool if you can go home and watch yourself play.
Right. And Eugene is going to make a call, and he's way behind here.
Yeah.
Oh, he picks up diamonds on the turn now.
Yeah, he's got a lot of outs now. He needs a jack, a king, or a diamond.
And he just moved right in, and Sylvester at this point is going to call.
Oh, easy.
And the river's a jack. Eugene sucks out. Trip jacks.
Yeah.
And he slow rolls. He's showing the king there. And there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't slow roll. I'm sorry. The jack came out of his hand. It looked like he just had the king.
Right.
Yeah.
And, once the turn comes out, obviously Eugene's not going to go anywhere.
Well, actually, you know what? I don't mind the way that Eugene played the hand on the turn. He bet.
Oh.
He's going to call, obviously, so he came out and bet.
No, it's a great play on the turn.
Yeah.
He probably should have thrown it away in the flop.
Right.
But once he calls and the 3 of diamonds hits off, you're not going anywhere. You might as well bet it.
Post here by Death Valley on 2+2. He says, I'm going to be at the bike for the first time next Thursday and was hoping to play the 500 min no limit. Will that be the game next Thursday? We actually don't do that game on Thursdays anymore because it was putting a little bit of pressure on Mo. So we were doing something alternative on Thursday. The 10-20 game is the game that we always schedule for Friday. He also went and asked that, too.
The 2 games that we will commit to week in, week out, obviously, our Wednesday game will always be the 25-50 no-limit game.
Right.
The Friday game will always be a 10-20 game.
Right.
The rest of the week, obviously, we kind of keep up in the air.
And Monday is also limit for the most part as well.
The diamond gave me out.
Let it out.
Too much.
And I'm thinking every other Thursday is going to be Omaha now. Right?
Two-way heads-up action here. I think Doug made a little raise with Queen 10.
Wishful thinking there for me.
9-8-5. And Doug is going to continue with the pre-flop raise, and he's going to bet the flop. But Larry has the best hand here with ace-5. Turns a 9. Doug's got a gut shot. Let's see if he's going to take a card here on the turn.
Doug's
Yep.
got outs here. He needs obviously a jack, a 10, or a queen.
And the river's a 3. It's not going to happen.
No. And at this point, Larry's got to realize he's got the best hand. And he's going to bet it?
Well, you wonder if Larry is coming from a limit hold'em background, because this isn't a bad bet in a limit hold'em game because of the fact that you can value bet, and sometimes you'll get somebody to call with ace king after checking the turn.
Yeah, no,
but in no limits, a little bit of a shaky bet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say shaky. It's actually just surprising. It's funny.
Right.
In some of the bigger games, rarely will you ever
Right.
see somebody bet that on the river because
Right.
there's very little value to it.
Right.
But then again, you correctly pointed out that somebody might call you down with ace king or ace queen,
Right.
thinking you're bluffing.
Right. Well, you've induced that bluff by checking the turn, right? Now, oftentimes, to get even deeper with you, if top pair pairs the board, even if the guy's got an overpair, he might check right behind you to control pot size in the bigger games. So you're not going to automatically throw in a bluff bet that he's going to necessarily fold to. You know?
So are you
I mean, there are also players that you know if you just check one time, you can always induce that bluff.
Right.
You know, somebody like against my corporation, Mike said.
Ace 10-4 here. Ace 9 of diamonds over there for Doug.
You're close.
And Eugene's got top pair, but he's in kicker trouble.
Who's the bet on?
Yeah, Eugene has he's been in trouble all night. Let's see if he gets himself in trouble here again.
Well, he's going to throw out a little bet here. He's in first position, small blind, and he's going to bet 4 chips.
$8.
Yep. And let's see what Doug is going to do here. Doug's going to raise it up.
I like the play by Doug. He's got backdoor diamond draw.
I'll trade you. my
Find
money
out right
for
where he
it.
is right away. Now, if you get called here, you can probably check it down and check it down.
Oh, these, yeah.
I traded a dealer for his because I have one that's white. And
Now, do you really want to get involved here, Eugene, here? I mean, you got ace-5. I mean, you just sucked out. You just got lucky with your king-jack. Do you really want to give away the money so quickly?
Yeah. And you didn't have.
He's been kind of quiet over there.
You didn't have enough.
I don't know how you make this call against, these types of opponents that don't show a lot of strength without.
I mean, Doug's
Yeah.
raised. This is the first time Doug's raised
Right.
in the hour we've
Right.
been on the show.
Why'd you trade it?
I mean, I don't really throw. Normally, maybe 70 to 80% of the time in an unraised pot, I'll probably. He lays it down.
Good laydown. It's a good. I mean, at this level, sometimes I'm sorry to interrupt you there. At this level, oftentimes people will go, "Wow, how can you lay down an ace?"
Right.
But it's a pretty easy laydown. You look at the flop, ace 10-4 rainbow.
Now,
What
Dave,
could Doug have?
your style and my style are a little bit different. I mean, I think we come from the same schools of thought, and we're on the same par. But I sometimes think that you tend to put a little more money on the pot and put some pressure on people, whereas I might be a little bit more conservative. I say 75 to 80% of the time, I'll check that ace-5 from up front. I don't know if you would necessarily bet it, but you might be more apt to bet than I would from up front.
Yeah, I like the bet. I don't mind it at all because
Yeah.
depending on who raises or depending on who calls me,
Right.
I can get that information.
Yeah.
Now, if I check, to me, if I check it, I'm basically hitting the pot up. I mean, I'm checking with the intention of just checking folding.
Unless it's like a very late position bet.
Yeah, and then I'm put in a tough spot,
Right,
though. 'Cause
right.
then I've got to check raise to know where I'm at.
And then kind of my feeling is that if you get a call or several callers, what are you going to do then?
Oh,
That's
check-
the way.
then
That's
I'm
what I
done
say
with
when I bet.
Right.
So I mean, you're betting with the intention of hopefully taking it down right there, and if you get called, you just shut down.
Depending on who's called me, yeah. I mean, if I bet with ace-5 and Larry calls and 6-6, I might continue betting. But if I bet and Doug raises me, well, then it's an easy muck.
King Queen 7 here. Chris has got top pair in seat 1. Sylvester's got second pair, and Tina's got ace jack. She's got a gut shot, and this one's going to get checked around. I think Tina raised preflop, and she did not continue to bet.
Well, Luis has picked up a open-ended straight draw here. But Sylvester's going to bet it. Queen 10, he says second pair.
Now, the funny thing about this is that if Tina, I actually definitely like a bet in position in that spot because there's no way someone's going to come over the top of you with a check raise on that board unless they have a minimum of 2 pair, right? I mean, even ace king, someone who played ace king from up front, right? It's just
Yeah, you never know.
you know. And we had a bet here by Sylvester with queen 10. Luis is going to call. He's got an open-ended straight draw now. Tina gets away from it.
Move your chair all the
And
way up.
Chris,
I had a feeling that was coming.
who checked the king. Dave, Tina wasn't even last to act. Tina checked the flop, and Chris checked from the button.
Yeah, he's
he
been doing that a
plays
lot.
Top pair slow, and
Yeah.
now he's going to move all in. Wow.
he traps people. He loves to trap people, and he's done it here.
Again, that's kind of a bad habit to pick up, right?
Well,
With a hand as vulnerable as king jack on that flop.
yeah, you might get paid off here and there, but then again, you might go broke.
And Luis here is actually going to call on a draw.
Yeah, he needs a jack or a 6 to win this pot.
I mean, Chris checked that in position, the king.
Well, Luis only has 7 outs. Chris is in
Yeah.
firm control of his hand.
Actually, Tina had an ace-jack as well, so...
Oh, so he's got 6 outs.
Yeah. River's a 5, that's not going to do it.
No, and Chris takes it down.
And again, I just think, if Chris goes back and watches this, mistake begets mistake. You almost, if he were to come and ask our advice, you almost would want to say to him, you should start betting your hands a little bit more, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, you just got to, there is an argument to be said that if you check it once and you can trap a couple of people, hey, you might get paid off more money.
Right.
I've seen Jonas do it where, last night we actually saw Jonas
With
on the
pocket jacks.
button. No, he had Jack 8.
Oh, right.
Where
yeah.
he checked it one time and he trapped Vic. Park in a big hand, got Vic to induce a bluff basically, and he ended up winning about a $9,000 pot. So something to be said for that.
He was faced with a very difficult call though on the river.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And obviously you got to obviously realize that you're gambling.
He put himself in a tough spot.
Yeah.
He really did.
If you want to gamble a little more and maybe win a little more money, but your swings are going to be bigger too, obviously.
Now I didn't get a chance to talk to Jonas because he headed out of there. I wanted to ask him about that hand, what his intentions were on that hand. We've got 5-way action here linked around. Ace, queen, queen. Sylvester's got trip queens.
How many?
Now you wonder if this goes to the button. I would almost guarantee that Sylvester's the type of player that's going to bet this. I would think. Get somebody with an ace or a straight draw to call. And I think it's a great bet here on the button. And Luis does not call. Wow. Now let's see if Destai calls with a straight draw.
I got to tell you, the players in this game
Yeah.
are better
Than some of our
than
10-20.
than most of our 10-20 game.
Yeah.
The money's easier in the big game.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get a call from like an Allen there. in the small blind.
Half the table calls with ace-5 there.
Right. Allen, Ed, Corporation, Mike.
It's a great laydown.
Yeah.
And people are going, wait a second, he had an ace though. Why is that? What can ace-5 beat?
You're going to end up at best chopping a pot because your 5's not going to play on a paired board. Right?
Unless Sylvester's on a complete steal.
Right.
And which is possible, obviously, he's on the button.
Sergey, he's the leader now with 250. Tina hasn't played that much. She's at 200. And Eugene has rebought several times. Now, we got pocket aces over here for seat 1.
Hey, for an $8 game, we got a lot of money on the table.
Now, is seat 1 going to play this slow? Look at that, Dave. He limps in with aces here. Again, he's playing every single hand slow in seat 1. And it's going to be limped around here.
I mean, I like his game, but you got to understand that obviously he's risking his entire stack on any given hand, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went broke on one of these hands.
Right, because it's limped around. Could he get away from aces on a limped board? Well, let's see what comes out here. 9-6-4. Wow.
Doug's got top pair. Will he get in trouble? Not a bad flop for Eugene either. He's got 7s.
Doug's going to come out and lead. But of course, what if the flop was 9-7-4? I mean, would you think Chris is going to go broke? Right? Because Eugene would have had a set. Doug's going to bet 20. And is Chris just going to call again here, Dave? Like he has been with his big hands? He's going to move all in.
I mean, wow. Now let's see if Doug can get away from this. I mean, Chris, he took pocket aces against 7 opponents, 8 ways. But he survived the flop. Can he survive the turn in the river?
Well, Doug's going to call.
And Doug calls all in here. Doug needs a 9 or a jack. Oh, man, now he needs just a 9.
Yeah, that's a horrible card for Doug. Nope. I mean, Chris is going to take it down with aces.
You know, Chris has dodged bullets. He's been dodging bullets here.
Funny thing is kind of a meaningless stat that I'm wondering about. If you were to take aces 6 or 7 ways against random hands, how often after the flop would you be ahead? You've got to think it's under 50% of the time, wouldn't you?
Well, you're definitely not a favorite against the field.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're the favorite against each individual hand,
right.
not against the field.
Against the field, right.
But it is an interesting question.
Yeah.
You know, after the
and obviously that usually comes up in limit hold'em where you've raised with aces and you get 7 callers. You're sitting there like, what are the chances I'm going to win this hand? The point is that even if you're only a 45% chance, you bet the flop and you get 7 calls, you're getting incredible odds.
Yeah.
Because you've got 45% and you just made 7-1 on your bet or 6-1 on your bet on the flop. You know?
I mean, the one thing for playing big hand slow is, obviously, you're willing to gamble. but you're also going to get paid off. Because, like in that case there, if he were to raise big, Doug's not in there, he doesn't win a big pot.
Never been in like that?
By playing it slowly, he gets paid off by Doug.
Right.
It was possible he would have
I mean, I love to play with players like that, though.
I respect you. I'm sorry.
I know someone had a 6, right?
Six-way action here, limped around. Jack 8-5, rainbow.
Doug is going to rebuy here.
I got to check at the moment.
He's in there for 120 now.
Which, of course, is the max when you go down to felt.
Check around.
So, as the game goes along, like in any of these restricted no-limit games, we get a lot of chips on the table through rebuys.
Great.
Position play.
Now, Deste is going to bet here on the button. He's got middle pair, and he's got the best hand, so why not? Now, King 10 over there. Well, excuse me, seat 1's got 3-4 clubs. He's going to call. Is he setting up a move?
3 plays.
And King 6 of spades calls. Turn here is a 10. That doesn't really affect
No, it doesn't
anything.
change anything. Obviously, King 10 folded, so Destai's still in the lead.
And he just folds. Chris just folds.
I guess he was calling one time, take one off, see if he could pick up a draw.
Destai's going to bet again here.
8 chips.
And Larry's going to call here with King high, no draw. As we go to the river. The river's a deuce. And this is probably just going to go check.
Yeah, and Destai's going to win this. He's shaking
Destai
his
doesn't.
head.
Yeah, he thinks he's lost.
And Larry does not bet.
Larry shows down the King high, and Destai's going to take it down with a pair of 8s.
Now, doesn't that show you kind of, okay, now, Larry in position called with King, and then
Right.
didn't bet the river. So now if Larry bets the river, you know he's probably got something. Right?
You're talking about Destai.
No, I'm talking about Larry.
Larry was in the small blind that hand. Destai checked the river behind him.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
But the same thing can apply.
Same
though.
thing, he still
Yeah.
didn't bluff at it on the river.
Right.
He gave up.
Next time you got rid
He
of
wasn't in there to make a move.
So do I. I got rid of that shit, dude. Such a ripoff.
Baron Vanguard says, Tuck, how could you have an Omaha night without Shirley not sharing the super secret Omaha Badger technique, I guess?
How do you read that? That's amazing. Very impressive. Well, maybe we can get Shirley in the game. I'm still trying to push for an Omaha night where we can get, it's an invite-only Omaha night where the players will be very courteous and show us all 4 cards.
Jack 7-8 here. Yeah, it would be kind of difficult.
Well, okay, we'll talk about it.
C2's going to bet here $8.
How about a heads-up, you versus Shirley Omaha night?
Raise.
Raise here by Luis with top pie. Top pair. He's going to make it 16 to go. And Eugene's going to get involved. He's got a pair and a straight draw. Turns a queen. And the river's a deuce. There you go. Going to check it down. Pair of 8s is going to take it down. And the, the pair of jacks is going to take it down there for Luis in seat 4.
Both looking for that 9, huh? Yeah.
Sure were.
And when Jonas, post here by Rockout on 2+2, when Jonas had Jack 8 last night, it was against Vic, wasn't it? It was. It was not against Corporation Mike. Jonas made a call with pocket jacks against Corporation Mike.
Yeah,
that he
exactly.
played a little bit slow.
Yeah, and I think Vic had pocket 5
Yeah.
when
He made a move, he checked.
Jonas had
raised.
Jack 8.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm blind, I'm in.
I think well Vic put Jonas on a steal,
Right.
Hand is last.
and Jonas put
Vic on a re-steal.
Yeah, exactly. Jonas thought Vic thought he was stealing.
Now, the scary thing
Called-
for Jonas, I think, on the river was the fact that a spade came. So if Vic possibly might have been check raising as a semi-bluff.
Right.
But then it looked like, that maybe Vic bet almost a little bit too much on the river. I mean, you're just thinking through the way the hand laid out for it to be a flush. Maybe he would
Maybe.
bet less wanting a call.
Although Vic is
Yeah.
is a pretty tricky player, he might overbet with
right.
the goods.
Right.
Either way, obviously, it was a real interesting hand
Raise 6 chips.
and a great
$1
call
1
by
minute.
Jonas.
I hold that raise.
Ace 9 of spades here.
2 plays.
And we're heads up. Ace 9 of spades against Queen 7.
Spades come, Larry's in trouble.
Yep.
Well, surprisingly, no spades come.
See if Sylvester continues to bet here.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
And Sylvester is going to continue here. I don't think Larry can even call this.
No, he's just got queen high. He's got no draw. He's going to take it down. Funny thing is that I hopped in when I first got here, Dave, into a $100 no limit game, which I haven't played for a while. Played it once a couple weeks ago, and then I hadn't played it for months and months.
And the 100 games, obviously, the blinds are 2 and 3.
Yeah, they needed a little help starting the game. And I feel that I'm pretty good at, playing a game pretty consistently. But ever since I've been playing big no limit games, I was kind of just screwing around, and I ended up losing about $200. Now I got sucked out a couple times, but it's sometimes difficult to play down and play correctly.
I mean, it really, really tests your discipline and your patience.
Yeah.
And obviously to be a successful professional poker player, you've got to have discipline.
The other thing, though, too, is that it's a different game. It's not like, say, stepping from a 30-60 limit game down to a 4-8 game. It's a totally different game than the unrestricted no limit. I mean, it's a different style. It's almost, it's in comparison, it's almost like limit versus no limit.
Oh, yeah, it's a completely different game. I agree with you.
Like mine?
Oh, yeah.
And to play the 100 game well, man, you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of discipline. You guys got to sit there and wait for the hands. Especially that game, because you start out with so few chips in comparison to the blinds.
Sylvester's going to raise it up. He's got the old ace-queen suited.
Button is in seat 8, by the way, folks. Get a call by the small blind with pocket sevens. I think Chris is going to call with king 4 of diamonds. And Eugene, well, what the heck? Right? Nope, Eugene's going to throw away king 9.
Okay, 3 players.
3 ways here. Pot is already $40.
Yep, here we go.
Feel that? That right there.
Another set for Sergey.
Did I screw up?
And he is going to bet.
Okay, is his name Serge, Sergey, or Sergey?
I don't know. I've said it three different ways tonight. He bets immediately again with his set. And Chris has got a flush draw and a gut shot with an overcard.
Yeah, he's got a big hand there, Chris does.
And Sergey's going to bet here.
$58.
58. Chris gets away from it.
Wow. That's a big hand. King 4 of diamonds, he gets away from it?
You and I had the same scenario, sir. C6.
Well, this is an easy laydown for Sylvester, obviously. And this is one of the things we talked about in terms of implied odds. Oftentimes people go, well, I can call with my sevens because I'm getting huge implied odds. Not necessarily. Now, if you know your opponent has aces, yeah.
Right.
But if your opponent has ace-queen, the flop has to come out ace 8-7.
Well, the funny thing is when you are calling, hopefully, in position with your super, I call, implied connecting hands, connected suited connectors, low pocket pairs, you want the guy to flop. Or you want the guy to have aces. Or you want to flop a straight when the guy flops top set.
Of course.
So you actually want the guy to have probably a big pocket pair as opposed to ace-king. Because the chances of you flopping a set and him flopping top pair are slimmer than him having aces and you flopping a set.
Well, it's one of the reasons Doyle Brunson in Super System actually talks about he actually likes ace-king better than aces. And one of the reasons he likes it better is he says, if I have aces, I obviously have a pair without using anything on the board.
Right.
But if I have ace-king and I have a pair, well, that means there's only 2 of the cards that can help my opponent.
Well, he doesn't necessarily say he liked ace-king better than aces, did he?
Verbatim. That's specifically what he says.
I'm trying.
He'd rather have ace-king in his hand than aces?
Somebody on 2+2 can actually find that quote in Super System 1 for me.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact quote. But he actually said he does not like aces, really. He likes ace-king better.
Well, maybe he's going with the theory that ace-king is going to lose him smaller amount than aces.
Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, heads up, all in, he'd rather have aces.
Right.
He's not an idiot, obviously.
Right. Eugene has raised here out of pocket tens. No, I mean, I read Super System. I don't remember him specifically saying that.
But he's talking about in terms of getting a hand. He just said, generally speaking, I'm going to either win a small pot with pocket aces or I lose a huge pot with pocket aces.
Right.
I've got about a carat.
Again, for that reason, that you've hit that one pair, less chance that someone's going to have a set or 2 pair with the 2 remaining cards.
Right.
Yeah.
4 total.
I mean, if you have ace-king and the board hits you, what are the odds it hits somebody else also?
But then I often say that ace-king, we've talked about it, is not that necessarily that big of a hand in no limit because it's not disguised.
Right. Real Super System, Doyle Brunson also talks about, he says his favorite hands are actually like, 6-5.
I just think that ace-king is a much bigger hand in limit hold'em than it is in no limit.
Of course it is.
Yeah. 7-way action here, limped around. king 8-8 here. A couple people have kings, king, queen, and someone's got an 8, Sylvester. And he's going to lead. And you got to think that C4 is not going anywhere.
I love the bet here by Sylvester. I really love the bet.
That chips, $18.
I mean, Luis might even raise here. Oh, he's just going to call. And someone else has got a king in the hand too, right? Yeah, Larry over
Now,
there
is the
C6.
call scary if you have 8-4?
Too much?
If he gets called in a couple spots, you
Well,
wonder.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, if you get called here and you also get called by the king 7.
Get an all-inner.
Well, Larry's just going to move all in. So now for Sylvester, how do you play it?
Yeah, in a small game, he's probably not going to go anywhere.
No, of course not.
But he's shaking his head. He doesn't like the hands.
I think that's just an act, Dave.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in a bigger game, you bet out with a couple, you bet out with 4-8.
7 chips.
2 people cold call you.
Really?
Yeah.
You can almost go as far as to say is you don't exactly know where you're at out of position.
Well, in a big game, I mean,
Yeah.
our viewers are probably wondering, and I'm going to throw this
Now,
at you.
Sylvester calls, and now Luis calls as well. Wow. So let's see how Sylvester's going to play it on the side.
Players in there. One is all in.
And Sylvester's in great shape here, obviously, because we see there's only one king left.
He's got to figure he's going to bet here on the side. I would imagine he's going to bet here on this. I think he called to induce Luis. And look at this. He moves all in, and he gets a call by C4.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's in great shape.
These guys need the case king to come out, and it does not come.
Now, in a big game,
Yeah.
our viewers are probably wondering, oh, trip 8s are great, aren't they?
8 here.
Right.
But in a big game against players that obviously are really savvy poker players,
So what do we got? 2 full
you know,
stack?
if you get called in a couple of spots
Right.
and you bet your 8, there's a good chance you're behind if your kicker's only a 4 because your opponents might have ace-8,
One chip
8-7, or 9-8. Those are likely combinations.
Well, that's actually the worst, almost kind of the worst combination trip card for you to have. A mid trip like 9s or 8s. Say you flop trip 9s on the big blind, it was limped around, you've got 9 deuce or 8 deuce. Nobody's playing that trips with that kicker. They're either playing ace or a mid kicker like a 6, a 7, or an 8 with the 9.
Exactly.
Something
Big
like
blind's
that.
best.
I mean, if you're playing again in a big game, you know,
Big blind's best.
and you bet that flop, and you get called in one spot and then moved in the next spot,
Right.
you're probably behind.
Clubs.
Obviously, Sylvester is not behind in this case.
Well, Sylvester, he called to try to induce the other guy to call, and he did get that. And he moved all in on the side, and he got a call. It's nicely played.
Gets paid off here,
Yeah.
and he's got probably close to $300 now.
Could have
You
been.
played it okay then. You know what? Yeah.
Nothing like flopping trips and getting paid off, huh?
Right.
We got more money in this table. I tell you, this 80 game, great action.
3 betting this.
Sometimes, this game's got sometimes more action than the 3 to 5 game we had.
Raised to 3 chips. Go ahead and call the 1. You're calling, right?
Limped around her.
Okay, I got 5 players there.
Here we go to the flop, king 8-5. Ace king here for Chris. Actually, did Chris make a raise here pre-flop? Destai's got a flush draw. Chris has played ace king slow before tonight. No one did raise before the flop. So Chris has played it slow again with ace king. He's hit top pair. Is he just going to call again? Destai comes out and bets with the flush draw. Larry's going to call with a gut shot. And now Chris is going to raise it out.
Now, sometimes Ace King, now we talk about, obviously, the problems with Ace King, and I actually write a whole article about this. If you want to check it out, you can go to liveatthebike.com. You can go to Under the Gun with Tuckman. And I want to say it's probably like my late December blog that I write an article about Ace King.
Well, look at this. Chris has raised it up, and I believe that Destai has called with the flush draw. And I don't know what Larry's doing. He's going to call here for the gut shot to a bet and a raise.
With 2 spades out there.
And
I mean,
call.
he needs an offsuit 7.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately for him, Destai's got the 7 of spades.
12 chips, 24.
Oh, he has not called.
Oh, okay.
He was getting chips before. That's what was
I got you.
confusing.
Okay.
So we're heads up here. Ace king against a flush draw. Turns a 5.
Are you really?
All in.
And Chris is going to move all in here.
When Destai's got a lot of money, I mean, I think this is a pretty easy laydown now.
Absolutely.
Now, sometimes Ace King can have value if you're playing against players that don't know the weaknesses of Ace Queen and Ace Jack and Ace 10,
Well,
and you can get paid off.
Yeah, I mean, at those lower stake games.
Even the bigger stakes games.
Yeah.
And look at that, the river would have been a 9 of spades, and Destai would have gotten there, but I still say it's a good laydown.
Baron Vanguard Toth says, Tuck, if Super System 1 has that quote, it should be burned. And again, I don't necessarily know if you're quoting it exactly, but we know what the meaning is, right? I think Dave's going to get a copy of the book from the bookstore. I think he is. Yeah, he's going to the bookstore and he's trying to get a copy of the book.
That's raised to $10.
Raised here to $10 by Seat 7. He's got Ace King. And he's going to take... Look, I'm all by my lonesome back here. Tuck has left the booth. He's going to go run to the bookstore and check it out.
No, nobody called?
No call.
Bud's going to move over here to Seat 4.
Ask somebody in 5 minutes.
I got to be honest with you. I'll tell you when Tuck is not in the room here. I'd be shocked if the quote actually says that. I do know where he's going with it, but the way he's making it sound, it seems a little bit unbelievable. Ace 4 of diamonds over here for Seat 1.
Pot's been raised.
He's going to raise it up. Looks like he's going to make it $12 to go. And once again, we're not going to see a flop here, which is going to give me a little time to talk about the LA poker scene. Of course, you can go to lapokerscene.com or click on the right-hand side of your screen and sign up. And we are doing a $500,000 free roll, final stage of which is in October. If you make your first deposit bonus using the bonus code 5X500K, you get 5 gold bars, which of course is 5 entries into the 3 daily Stage 1 free roll tournaments. They start at 3:30, 5:30, and 9:30 Eastern. If you win one of those, you are in the finals. Finals pay first place $200,000, second place $70,000, and so on. $500,000 free roll. LAPokerScene.com. Check it out. Limped in the cutoff and in the blinds. 3-way action. Jack Deuce Deuce here. Couple spades. So Luis and C4's got top pair. Let's see if he's going to come and bet. Well, he checked around. He's going to play a little cagey. Turns a 10. And now he's going to put some money in there.
$8.
He's going to bet $8.
So when you're a pro player, the casino pays you to keep games open, right?
And he's going to take it down. Now, in that case, the only thing that really could have hurt him there was a queen. If a king had come, he would have had top 2 pair versus Larry's king 5.
Welcome back.
Isaac's a big fan of that guy's hat right there. When's the last time the Raiders were any good? I remember they made the Super Bowl when I first came out here. It was about 3 years ago. Got destroyed by Tampa Bay. But moves over here to Seat 6. I have to watch him saying Isaac invited me over to his house on Saturday for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Kicked me right out of there. And then we're going to Dave's house for the Super Bowl. That should be a lot of fun. I can't be less interested in the 2 teams playing the Super Bowl this year. I feel absolutely deflated by the Patriots losing. Limped around here. And we're going to see 7-way action. See if Evelyn gets these cards up. Some high to Broadway out here. Ace, King, Jack, Rainbow. We got a Queen, Jack, a King, 9, Queen, Deuce. And no one has an ace. Actually, Chris has got an ace in Seat 1.
$6.
Now, he's checked the ace rag from up front. And Sylvester's going to bet $6. The button's going to call Larry. And is Chris going to even get involved with ace 4? He is. He's going to make the call. So, and excuse me, that was Serge that called with the 10. And Chris is going to check raise. So Serge called with 10-4, and Chris check raises with ace 4. Just a little bit, a mini check raise, and everybody calls. Here we go to the turn. Turn is a 6. Chris is still in the lead with ace 4. as Dave's come back from his journey. It's going to get checked around here. And the river here is an 8.
Turn me on.
You're on, Dave. You're on.
I'm on. Okay.
And if this one just gets checked down, Chris is going to win it.
Okay, super. I've only got a minute because the lady at the gift shop.
She wasn't too pleased about giving you the book.
No, she made me give her a deposit. She said if I don't bring it back in a minute, she's going to charge me. She's going to make me buy it. Okay, here. Page 471 of Super System 1. He talks about, here Doyle Brunson, I'm going to quote him. I've already mentioned that I'd rather have ace-king than either a pair of aces or a pair of kings. A lot of players will probably find that surprising, but it's not. You'll soon see why. And then he goes on to explain why.
Well,
this is
I'm
page
shocked.
471 of Doyle Brunson's Super System.
Yeah?
Check it out.
I'm shocked.
Okay, I've got to go give this back to her before she steals my money.
Blind?
Come on.
Bud moves over here to seat 7. I stand corrected. I was talking a lot of garbage about Dave while I was out of the booth. Oh, always a lot of fun at Live with the Mic. Of course, we stream live poker cash games every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 Pacific time. And then we run the show on a 24-hour loop all the way until 5 p.m. the next day. Limped around here. 6-way action. King 6-3, couple diamonds. King Jack over there for seat number 7. That's Doug. He's on the button. And Luis has got King 6. He's got top 2 pair. So Doug might get caught here again. It hasn't been a great night for him.
Nothing in there.
And Luis is going to come and bet out here with top 2. Now, the way that Doug played this before, he's probably going to raise with top pair, and he's going to get himself in trouble. There's a $6 bet here with top 2, and there you go. Doug's going to raise, and it just hasn't been his night so far tonight. He's facing 2 pair. He's going to make it 18 to go. And now let's see how Luis is going to play it. Is he going to re-raise? He's bet right in with top 2 pair. And he is just going to call here. Well, sometimes there might be some action killers that can come here on the turn. Turns a jack, and now Doug's got 2 pair with the second nut flush draw.
Oh, man, what a turn.
Luis checks.
Well, Doug had to think he had the best hand. I mean, you can't blame Doug for that, huh?
Well, I'm just questioning. Luis played a little slow on the flop. He just called, and there's a lot of things that might come on the turn that kill your action or scare you out of position. And Doug's going to bet
25 chips.
Yeah, and in position,
50.
I like the bet. Doug also has the king of diamonds.
And look at this. Luis just thinks that he's good here, all in. And Doug is going to call. He's got the second nut flush draw plus 2 pair.
Luis has 2 outs here. He needs one of the remaining 2 sixes.
Offsuit 6 here. Here we go. River's an ace. What a turn card for Doug.
And Doug doubles up.
Yep.
Double up, Dougie.
There you go.
Dougie's a good guy. He when he first started working here as a dealer, he actually gave me a little chip that was a New York Jets chip.
Yeah.
As kind of a card protector.
Now, Baron Vangor Toth, you actually beat him to the punch. He says the quote, and then he says in parentheses, that's a paraphrase, but nonetheless accurately moronic. Now, Doyle Brunson, I mean, King of Poker, Super System 1, the Bible. You know, I take that for, I guess, what he's trying to say, but I would rather have aces than ace-king.
Well, I mean, he does say, he goes, I'm not a moron. He goes, I know aces will outrun. He knows, I know aces are better than ace-king heads up. He says he'd just rather have ace-king than kings or aces.
But do you actually believe that for face value in a ring game? Like in a full ring game, he's going to rather be dealt ace-king than aces. Yeah, 5-way action here, limped around.
Check that.
King 7 deuce, couple diamonds. Checked around here, turns a 6.
Betting this.
And now Sergi, which is a 4th pronunciation that I'm going to put out there, is going to bet $9. And it looks like it's going to be enough. Tina's played it really tight, pretty ABC all night.
Yeah. Well, hey, playing ABC can beat this game here.
Absolutely.
And I know it's a curious quote there because you'd think, well, if aces and kings are hard to disguise, and I guess he's scared that he's going to lose a big pot or win a small pot with aces or kings. Well, Isn't that the same thing with Ace King, you'd wonder?
Well, how about coming out and actually another post here followed up is that, everyone has been taught to think that Super System is the Bible of all poker books. Are the Super System books that good compared to other material that's out there?
Well, the Super System 1 was written over 20 years ago.
Right.
At this point. And you wonder a lot of the plays that he talks about, like limping in with aces and then raising them after he gets re-raised, that play's been so done and overdone that it's almost like it's so obvious at this point that, it's almost outdated. And you wonder if some of that book is outdated, and one of the reasons why Doyle Brunson came out with Super System 2. Nonetheless, though, Doyle Brunson obviously is, a very successful poker player, has proven his worth over the years.
King 8-6 here.
So
Missed everyone.
$2 whole dollar.
Check here.
Check it.
Tina limped in late position with Jack 10. Turns a 9. Now she's open-ended. Let's see if she puts a bet out here if it gets checked to her
Well,
again.
she needs to put a bet in there here. Come on. Put a little semi-bluff in there. Yeah, you go.
That might do it.
That might do it. It's not quite a big bet. I mean, you probably want to put maybe an $8 bet in there, but hey,
Right.
she gets it done.
And she's going to take it down.
And she wins it with what was not the best hand, obviously. He had queen high. She only had jack high.
Nope. But
It's actually been a while since I've read Super System 1. And obviously, there really isn't necessarily a great book, as far as I know, out there about the No Limit Cash game. Now, supposedly, the writers of the Advanced Player series, like Skalansky and them, are putting out a book about No Limit Cash games. But I got to wonder if that book is going to basically cover what Russ Fox has covered about restricted game. I think really No Limit Cash game is more of a feel and experience than it is anything you can write down in literature.
Of course, and poker is. You cannot read a book and then go, okay, now I'm a good poker player.
Yeah,
it's
but,
not going to happen.
But limit poker is a lot easier to put down on paper than no limit, I think.
Oh, of course it is, but
Yeah.
nothing's going to substitute experience.
Oh, no. But I'm saying, if someone thinks that they can sit down and read a book about no-limit cash games and all of a sudden be a huge winning player, whereas, you know what, if you learned some of the limit books out there, you could just break the game right away if you knew it front to back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you on that, but I think it's still, you need experience. I don't think reading a book can ever teach you how to play poker.
Well, of course, no, I know what you mean. Eugene is open-ended here.
I would challenge anybody who reads a book and then plays it perfectly
Right.
based on the book. Because I haven't found one book out there that I think is flawless.
Turn is a 3.
That 3 helped a lot of people.
I'm not saying I'm flawless. Obviously, I have plenty of flaws.
You have H3. Probably got the best hand now. 4.
And the river here
Oh,
is
there's a straight for Eugene. He makes it.
Yep. It's a third club.
Try
Yeah.
He's going to throw a little bet out here.
and see what happens.
He's going to bet $4.
He says it. He goes, I'm going to put $4 up there and see what happens. I don't think he's going to get called at any spot.
So, I really am.
I know. It's hard to figure out
Yeah. 2
what
chips.
the value
You know, I think that if you watch Live at the Bike on a
Wow.
regular,
What do we got?
we got a call here by
Yeah, Sergey called here with King High.
Wow.
I guess my
What I was going to say, Dave, is I think if you watch Live at the Bike on a regular basis,
Yeah.
it definitely can help your game, and it's going to add to your experience. I mean, seeing the cards, seeing the way people play, and that's why we always preach the archives and how they're really valuable if you want to improve your game.
Hey, to be honest with you, and I'm going to use my quote one more time there. I read almost every poker book out there.
Right.
Because my feeling is if I even get just one page worth of valuable information, well, then my investment has been paid off. Okay? I also want to read the books because I want to know what everybody else is reading out there. Sometimes I can even see somebody make a play that I've read about, and I go, oh, so you've read that book.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, nothing, and I know I'm biased, but this is the truth, nothing has improved my no-limit game more than watching Live at the Bike.
Oh, absolutely. And
Because I'm actually watching real poker.
and
I'm not,
engaging within every hand.
yeah, I'm not reading about a possible play where, I mean, Doyle Brunson even says, he goes, you know, I never play the same hand the same way against different players. So every answer is always it depends, but here I get to see every single night No Limit Hold'em. I get to see it happen.
Best hand here is for seat 5. Now he's filled up. Nobody has a king.
16.
And he's still going to have to play this hand defensively. That jack doesn't really change anything. He's pretty much just in call mode, I would
Yeah,
think.
and
here.
Sylvester bet is ace.
Yeah.
Heads up.
Well, now if he gets checked to you, I think you can put a bet in with the jack. Let's see. I mean, what do you think the guy's called you with here?
Sylvester, wow, he's put out a little test bet there. He's put out $16 out there.
Well, if Disday had been paying attention, Sylvester let out with trips before, remember? So he checked the flop this time.
Yeah.
But again, I will challenge anything that comes into print with regards to no-limit cash games being anywhere close to watching this show on a regular basis.
And in the end, I mean, just watching the show is not enough. Just reading books is not enough.
Right.
And just playing is not enough. If you really, really want to be a top player, you've got to do it all. You've got to go to 2+2 and go to the forums. You've got to read all the stuff out there. You've got to play the game, and you've got to watch live at the bike. And if you do all that, hey, I don't want to play with you. I'll put it that way.
Got a little under an hour left in the show.
But in most good poker players will admit, and they'll say, they've learned how to play by playing. You know, you pay your dues, you know,
Okay, 4 players.
you lose a little money, and you learn how to play the game.
Four-way action here. Queen 6-8 rainbow.
I check.
Turn is a 5. Destay's got a pair now. Little bet here by
What do you bet,
Eugene.
$2?
$2, one chip. Call.
Maximize my equity.
And that's a spot where oftentimes, even if you have nothing, you can raise it up because you know they're all weak.
River's a 9. And a pair of 5s is good here. Anyone would have a 7 would have a straight.
No, he did that last time.
Now, it's funny here. If you're Eugene and you put a bet in here on the turn card representing possibly open-ended, can you put a real bet here on the river and take it down? But he just checks it down and he moves.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, no, he bet, Eugene.
oh, he did that. Okay,
He
there
did
you
bet,
go.
and he took it down.
There you go. Dave, you know, one of the other interesting things today, I had a little kind of a present when I came into the casino. I went to my box, and now I keep a box where I keep my chips and my money.
Safe deposit box.
Yeah, and there was a note. Basically, every time you go in there, you have to sign a little thing saying that you've into your box at a certain time.
Right.
That's all. There was a note saying, go see supervisor. I was like, what?
In your box.
I went to the main cage, and the cage in the plaza yesterday shorted me $300. They were $300 over at the end of the shift, and they found out, they looked back in the cameras, and I'd come in from a no-limit game with all these different colored chips, and they had shorted me $300. So they just gave
How did
me
they short
$300. They didn't give me, I didn't notice the fact
Oh, you didn't know
that I had 300.
You cashed in for like
Yeah.
say, you cashed in for say 3,500.
Yeah.
And you actually had 3,800.
Right.
Wow.
And they found out that it was me. They looked back at the camera.
Man, you're lucky. If I was
Yeah.
a cashier, I would have taken that money and ran.
Well,
No chance
I
you're
know.
getting that 300. Especially if it was you. Anybody else, I would have given it to you. I would have. Oh, I actually would have used the money and spent it on the food for Super Bowl party.
six-way action here. Jack 10-9. Seat 3 brought it in for a little raise with a suited connector.
Well, Sergey is open-ended.
Yep. With the 8.
Hey, we're gonna make it look like 6
Well, this
And-
time, I mean, Sylvester raised it up in position, which is a little bit better than what he did before.
Yeah, Eugene is open-ended as well, obviously. He's got the queen.
Easier to recognize.
Yeah.
And does nobody have a pair here?
Take your time,
Wow. A flop like that, I mean, Jack 10-9, how does nobody have a pair? Amazing.
King Queen looks good right about now.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hansen. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Don't miss tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is our big game. It's our 10-20 game. Minimum buy-in is $1,000. Most people buy in for about $3,000 to $4,000, though. And the game plays big.
So we had a bet and a call by Seat 2.
Man, you.
Seat 2 is also open-ended, the big open-ended.
Yeah.
of it.
Good.
He also has backdoor diamonds, Eugene.
Okay, heads up here.
We're heads up. Turn card's a deuce.
Well, Sergey's got the best hand right now with King High, though.
And Sergey's going to continue to bet.
Wow.
Well, chip.
Maybe he puts this guy on a queen, and Eugene's going to fold it.
Well, there you go. Sergey earned himself a pot there. I mean, he had the best hand, but obviously with King High, he was very vulnerable.
Now, is there any difference between this game and the 100 game? Or it's just pretty much I mean, if you say you're going to hop into a game.
Well, I think this game plays more action because there are more chips on the table.
pot, yeah.
You know, oftentimes in the $100 game, because people only start with, say, 20 chips, because the $100 game, by the way, is played with $5 chips.
Right.
So everybody starts with 20 chips. So oftentimes the pot looks smaller, and that will affect somebody, you know, psychology-wise. It just looks smaller. This game, though, I mean, I actually think this game's a nice action game. You could make some money in this game.
Yeah.
Pot's gonna raise to $8.
Raise here to $8. Ace 8 of diamonds. Button's going to call.
And you see this guy calling there with 7-6, and I'd rather call with 7-6 than Ace-6. Obviously. More likely to have live cards.
King Jack 10 here, a couple clubs.
Yeah, pretty ugly flop for both of them. Whoever bets is probably going to take this down.
You know, again, the reason why you might even be able to call with 6-7 here is that if you're against the type of player that might be so tight that he would check a pair of 8s from up front, you could just bet and take down the flop there on the button.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can use the position there.
Email
Eugene
here from
obviously bet into it.
Orion Turner. He says, Bob Chiffon's book, Pot Limit and No Limit Poker, is a good no limit cash game book. I have not read that book. I don't know if you have.
I've read it. It is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
For cash games? For unrestricted
Yeah,
cash
I
games?
mean, I think it's a good book.
Yeah.
I actually like the pot limit section better than the no limit section. Pot limit's actually one of my favorite games. I love it.
They don't really spread pot limit cash games anywhere, though.
No, they
these days,
used
do
to
they?
spread it.
They used to spread it before the no limit craze.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, I used to play a lot of pot limit with Gabe Thaler.
Yeah.
Really great player over. Plays at another casino,
Yeah.
and he's a big pot limit specialist. But
Playing over in the Inglewood?
12 years ago.
No, a different one.
No? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Raise here, but pocket queens here. Sylvester.
$14.
But no limit is kind of taking over the world.
Yeah. Well, pot limit, I think there's a little bit more. Well, in tournaments, I mean, there's definitely a little bit more skill because you have to play post flop. You
Yeah,
can't just be a
I
shove-in
really
match.
loved it.
Yeah.
I cashed, and obviously anybody that was wondering, I cashed in the pot limit tournament at the World Series. I want to say it was the 4th or 5th tournament.
So
$2,000 pot limit.
Raise here by pocket queen, Sylvester. Larry's call with ace queen. Eugene's call with king jack of clubs. And Sergey is in there with ace 8 offsuit. So
A lot of Broadway out there, huh?
we've got about a $70 pot going 4 ways here.
One is all in.
Well, Sylvester's in good shape, huh?
And Larry's all in.
On the side.
So on the side here, 10, 10, 4. Eugene's got overcards and a club draw. Pretty big flop.
Yeah, and Sylvester, it's a good flop for Sylvester, but, you got to be scared of those 2 10s out there. Somebody could have a 10 very easily.
1836.
Now, Eugene is going to bet right into this board. Now, the question is, would he bet a 10 just like he's betting a draw here? And would that put Sylvester to the test if he would bet a 10 here?
Well, that's the question, yeah. Most players would check the 10 and bet the draw.
Right.
So,
I believe you.
Could he bet something like pocket 8s or pocket 9s as well?
right, well, the way Sylvester can think about it, if Eugene is like most players, and he would check a 10,
Right.
but bet another pair, or bet a flush draw, well, then my queens are probably good, and I can raise him here.
Well, he only has one person to deal with behind him. That's Serge.
This might be a good spot to mini raise, though, because you don't want to pot commit yourself if Sergey happens to have a 10 behind you. You can get the information without, really committing yourself.
Well, a
can't you?
crafty player might move all in with the king jack of clubs if you mini raise it here. But then again, you got to think, well, if the guy's mini raised, there's no fold equity in me doing that with king jack of clubs.
Yeah, I mean, well, mini raise, it's hard to do it from out of position because if Sylvester mini raises, might he do that with a 10? Might that be the kind of, I mean, if you had a 10 here, might you mini
Wow,
raise?
you know what? Sylvester just got some information. Seat 9 wanted to fold out a turn with the ace 8, so that might make it a little bit easier
that's
now.
huge.
Now he can just call, right?
Exactly.
Now he can just call. Seat 9 was going to fold out a turn, so that's huge, huge information.
Now, there is still seat 6 in there, by the way.
But he's all in.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, in this case, you almost can smooth call. If you want to, you can raise. I mean,
I never decide that.
the thing is, if you don't put Eugene on a 10, it's pretty easy to raise this, isn't it?
He's going to fold.
Wow!
Oh, he's not going to get involved with the hand.
He just throws it away?
Okay, you're going to win a side pot.
And Larry's in the lead here.
Run it out for the
Turn is a jack no longer. He's got a straight draw now. And the river is a 9. And I wonder if
Wow.
Sylvester's pissed off now.
Man, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm surprised Sylvester actually laid that down.
Well,
Wow, big laydown for Sylvester.
I don't know if you've ever seen Eugene in a spot where he would lead out. I don't know if we've ever seen him in a spot where he was faced with that. So I can't go so as far as to say as how he would have played it.
Yeah, I mean, Sylvester plays with him more than we do, so. Sylvester obviously read him as having a 10.
Pretty tight laydown.
Yeah, huge. I mean, you think at the minimum you could at least smooth call one time.
I don't know if Larry's locked the seat up here or what. He's locked the seat up. You know, Dave, I don't
No, he said he's coming right back.
normally play after the show,
Yeah.
but I almost want to go and play that game so I can get in the game with that guy again. Because again, a lot of people can't leave their ego at the door.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, if he sees you come back in the game, he'll stick around trying to get you back.
Yeah,
You know, he doesn't want to win money. He doesn't want to win chips.
Right.
He wants to beat you.
right.
And those are the kind of players you really want to play
Yeah.
against. Obviously, because you don't care who you're playing against.
Three-way action here.
Good flop for me, guys.
King 9-5.
Misses everybody.
I was telling you about a hand, Dave, earlier in the day where I had played pocket aces kind of meekly in late position, didn't really raise enough to thin the field out, and bet rather weak, and got put in a tough spot, and had to lay them down because I played it so weakly. You know, when you've got four people that have called the pre-flop raise and the flop comes 5, deuce, 3 with 2 hearts, and you get check raised with 2 black aces, and you got a caller in between after you bet on the button, it's a tough spot.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you know,
For one chip, I check it.
you played the hand a little passive, and then
Yeah.
you don't want to go broke on that hand. There.
What I did is actually I misjudged the pot size, something I've done in the past where you think you've almost grabbed more chips, and you throw them out there and you don't verbalize your bet, and you realize, shit, I didn't even bet anywhere close to the pot size.
Yeah, and that annoys me. It happens once in a while. I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll throw out a wrong chip.
Right.
And it really is.
Yeah.
It's happened at
It's happened to me online several times
Yeah,
as well.
it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got to be a little more dialed in.
Yeah.
Right, I was driving home and getting ready to get to
Button's
bed.
going to move over here to CD.
Yeah.
Blind here, blind here.
Hey, and we're hearing this from 2+2 here. Thank you very much, Baron Vangertuff. Yeah, I'm getting word that Doyle Brunson wants to buy Live at the Bike for $100 million. Well, you can let Doyle know we're not for sale, okay? Thank you. But we're getting something else here from Surf and Illini. He says that Live at the Bike should start. We should start dealing an IPO.
Well, we know that we have at least a couple investors, Barry Woods being one of the big ones.
Yeah, I mean, Surf and Illini is well, he's a budding lawyer
Yeah.
and wants Live at the Bike to go public.
I don't have the offensive rebound. He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he's
Can you imagine that? LATB on the NASDAQ? I know, we'd probably lose our jobs pretty quick, though, wouldn't we?
on you. Go.
Hey, but we'd cash in on the IPO, wouldn't we?
Players here.
7-way action here. Queen 5-3 rainbow. Everybody checks.
Live at the Bike, politically incorrect. Keeping it real.
And Tina's going to bet here with pocket fours. You know, it's checked over to her on the button. Maybe I have the best hand. She's going to bet.
Hey, why not? Let's see if she can use her tight image. You're just wondering, is the table paying attention to her tight image?
Well, seat 7 to her immediate right, Doug, is not even going to get involved with 6-5. There you go. Well, the funny thing is, if Doug had bet, he probably would have taken the pot down from the cutoff.
Yeah.
And when you have a tight player to your left, you sometimes have to take advantage of that. You raise from the cutoff often to buy yourself the button. You can bet that pot because you know she's not going to call with something as weak as middle pair, which in this case was third pair.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an easy bet for Doug, and it's a great bet by Tina taking the pot.
Right.
Obviously, if she checks, you know, any card comes out as a scary card
Yeah,
with
yeah.
pocket force.
And actually, you know, I was talking with
I'm sorry.
Bonnie, the lady that was on the show last night, Dave, from Poker Forever, and she was telling me how good the game was after we were off. Kind of a crazy action guy came into the 25-50 game
Yeah.
and went for hours afterwards. It was
That's what happens to a
insane.
lot of these games. These games will start at 7 and go on till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And like you said before, we actually had 2 25-50 games last night.
Heads up.
Well, Sylvester's raised and Eugene is called.
There goes your guys' ace king.
Ace, King 9.
Well, Sylvester's got a best hand here. Eugene's in really bad shape. And he's going to muck it. I tell you, Bicycle Casino is quickly becoming the place to play no-limit hold'em poker.
Yeah.
I mean, if your game is small like this, We even have a $40 buying game.
That's right. With 1-2 blinds.
I mean, we've got a $40 buying game with 1-2 blinds, the $80 buying game, a $100 buying game, a $200 buying game, obviously the 3 to 5 game, the 500, the 1,000, and the 3,000.
Right.
You know, we've got a game for everybody. And the nice thing about it is that some casinos, if you're playing,
100?
if you start getting a little more advanced and you start moving up, the casino doesn't grow with you.
Right.
You know, and you've almost got to go to another casino to play. Here, though, you really can get comfortable with the bike and stay here as you know, graduate to higher levels, so to speak.
Pocket jacks over here for seat 2 in the small blind. Limp here by seat number 9.
Pot's been raised.
A couple of ace rags out there. Let's see if anybody gets involved. I imagine Luis is probably going to call this with ace deuce of spades, though.
5 more? 5 chips.
Well, he's only going to make it
10?
$10, 5 chips more.
And he raises it 5 chips. So we've got $12 in for a person.
All right, we got a pot now here, guys.
Wow, and look at this. Suddenly we've got a $48 pot to the flop.
Here we go.
Ooh.
King, Jack, 9, couple clubs.
Yeah, set for Eugene. And he's in really good shape, but how does he know that? I mean, if you could ever flop a set and not like your hand, this is one of them, huh?
$80?
Wow, he bets 80 into a $48 pot.
What are you doing, bro?
Oh, he's flopped middle set. Pretty draw heavy there, huh, Dave?
Yeah,
King,
well,
Jack, 9,
somebody
couple
asked,
clubs,
what are
3
you
clubs.
doing? And he goes, I'm protecting my set.
Right.
I can tell you for a
Can you beat it straight?
And Sergey's actually got a gut shot with a flush draw. He's actually got a lot of outs, believe it or not.
Well, he's going to fold. He's got the 7 of clubs. He doesn't know.
Right, obviously he doesn't know that it's good.
Actually, sometimes a bet like that on a connected board screams like... Would the guy come out and bet there with aces, with the ace of clubs? It screams like maybe a couple red aces, a middle set without a club, or 2 pair without a club, or something
Yeah,
like that.
I was actually in a hand...
Ace King without a club.
I was in a hand about a week ago with Barry Woods, where the flop came out
All of you.
Jack 9 blank.
Right.
Barry had raised the pre-flop. I had called with Queen 10. The flop came out Jack 9 blank with 2 diamonds. No, 3 diamonds, sorry.
Yeah.
I had the Queen 10 with the Queen of diamonds in my hand. And he bet, I bet into it with the open-ended straight draw plus the Queen of diamonds. And he raised me so much that it really screamed like he had, I thought he had aces, and I thought he had like 2 black aces.
Right.
I then moved all in on him, thinking, okay, I'm probably the favorite here.
Oh, against a 1 pair non-diamond.
1 pair, I had an
with a
open-ended.
little bit of fold equity.
Yeah,
well,
I-
against
well,
Barry Woods, you never know.
Not really, but I didn't
Yeah.
get the fold equity, but I actually thought I was probably about a 60 to 40 favorite.
Right.
You know, open-ended straight draw with the flush draw.
And what did he end up having?
He actually had a set of 9s.
Oh.
But even if it was against a set, I was only, I want to say, a 58-42 underdog.
Yeah.
We ended up running it 3 times, and I ended up beating him 2 out of 3 anyway.
6-way action here. Limped around. King, excuse me, Jack 5-10. Queen 9 over there. Larry's got an open-ended straight draw.
And Luis is the same hand.
And Chris has got top pair. And Larry's going to bet a little bit here with the straight draw. And Chris, he's going to immediately raise here with top pair. Seat 1. $6 bet. And he's going to make it 36. So he's going to make it 30 more to go. And now Luis has asked for time here, Dave. You got a bet and a raise. You've got an open-ended straight draw. It's a rainbow board. But again, with a dry draw like this against a bet and a raise, better than maybe not to get involved with this out of position.
I agree. And we're getting a lot of posts on 2+2 saying, wow, this game is juicy. And I agree. I mean, this game is great.
And again, you know, Luis is thinking about it. Bet and a raise. He's got an open-ended straight draw here.
Yeah, they want me to leave it there.
And oftentimes, you know, we're making these statements. It's the correct statement in a restricted buying game. But if you're really, really deep, sometimes you don't even want to get involved with this either. You're going to play the rest of the hand out of position. Well, he's going to move the rest of it all in.
Not much for you, bro. Aren't you 2 buttons?
Well, there's a way to play it, you know?
Well,
You're open-ended.
you got
You know-
one overcard.
Yeah, it's a rainbow board. You probably don't love your overcard, but hey, it actually is good here. And look, Larry's going to overcall.
Well, he might now. Let's figure, you know, he might get 2-to-1 odds here. And he does call.
And Chris is in the lead here, but he's got to dodge a queen, a king, and an 8.
Yep.
Oh, he raised?
No, he
he
just
called.
called him.
He called him, you gotta call. You gotta put in
20 more you want to
5 more chips.
10 more.
10 more chips,
10
right. Re-raise?
And he's going to make the
He makes the call.
makes the call.
Yeah,
I
we
think
got a pretty big pot here right now.
Well, yeah, Larry's all in. Seat 4's all in.
I mean, I'm going to say this pot is
$200.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say. Wow, another $200 pot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's It's all in a
And actually, you know what? Seat 1 here, a little bit difficult to tell from this angle, but he's raising on the side. Larry has more money behind him in seat 6. So seat 1 has raised Larry all in. Larry made the overcall, and now the option went back to Chris, and he's moving all in.
Hey, you know what? I don't mind the play here by Chris. I mean,
Put the money down, pull his hand away. That was not.
and Larry is saying that Chris is doing a string raise. He's calling it on a string raise here.
Well, I think what Chris said, we're getting word, is that he said, I'm going to put him all in, reached his hand back. In a cash game, Dave, you know, string calls and string raises actually often happen, and they allow it. It's not like a tournament. You can move back with your hand to get more chips.
As long as you verbally announce it. You
Right.
can't, you can't.
Right.
You obviously can't put chips out there and then reach back.
Yeah.
The way that you did it.
Okay.
He's objecting, but he's still calling.
Real quick. Come on, hold on, dealer. Queen 9.
Hold on, dealer. He wants to steal the cards.
Well,
As
of
if it's
course,
going to change.
You don't have to turn your cards over in a cash game.
No.
Turns a 3.
And the Rivers are
is
6.
And
Wow.
Chris is going to take the whole thing here, about a
Chris,
$200 pot.
huge pot here, and Chris is just on fire.
Wow, that was a big pot. I mean,
Yeah, and he's up to about $350
Yeah.
now. I mean, this guy has made like, what, 300% on his money?
Next time just say I. You know what chip I'm
You
at.
say you were all in, that's one thing. Hey, Donna, let me go see if AC wants to play. You can't call my hand all in.
Yeah.
Let me go see if AC you have a clue what I have. You can bet $300.
Deal you in or what?
Give me one hand. But
Okay.
technically you can't put
there he is. He's taking the long walk there.
Take the long walk home. And look at Chris, man, stacking them up again. Get this man another rack.
We have about a half an hour left in the show. And this is an interesting email that I'll get to in a second here from Timothy Sajewicz. And the subject heading is, Watching Live at the Bike Pays.
Okay. What the heck?
Are you going to read it, or are we just going to leave us all in suspense?
Well, I'm going to read it after this hand.
Okay. I got all excited. I'm frothing at the mouth here. You like the word frothing?
Frothing.
Frothing.
Like a dog? Like a rabid dog?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's one over here.
6-way action here. Queen, Jack, 5, Rainbow. This one was limped around.
There's
Time.
time.
I believe Eugene's got the best hand, right? Yes, he does.
Yeah, middle pair.
Who's it on?
6 ways. Pot is $12.
Where's the button?
Over there. They check.
Well, Eugene is in the cutoff. Let's see if he's going to throw a bet in here with middle pair.
Second base. One
Bet one.
betting disc.
I don't know why he keeps doing that, Dave. He bets $2 here.
I'm trying to maximize my equity.
I guess that's the
Everyone they call
answer.
$2.
He says he's trying to maximize his equity.
You know, as stupid as it might seem, sometimes that little $2 bet gets a little bit of
On you,
information.
big dog.
on me.
Yeah.
Not much, but a little bit.
No, that's why.
Well, I tell you what.
In position, why not bet $10, $12 with that? You probably take it down. And look, Larry calls with absolutely nothing because it's $2.
It's up.
I'm sorry, yes, bottom
Wait, he's
pair.
got bottom pair.
Yeah, I apologize.
Turns a queen.
I'll call that obvious bluff. I'm sorry.
And is Eugene going to actually put a real bet in here? Or
Yeah,
you bet
but-
another dollar?
He put another $2, and the river's a jack, and now he fills up. And Larry's hand doesn't even play now. He plays, well, actually, he's got a 9.
There's 9
And
plays.
he made the call. I think he made the call there.
You made the call, there's 9 playing?
Yeah.
No, he did not.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't realize that it doesn't play there. On
Yeah,
the
obviously, in
board.
Hold'em, your best 5-card
Yeah.
hand plays. So it's queens and jacks with a 9.
Right.
3 pair obviously is not good.
So here we go. I watch almost each night, and if I miss it, I try to watch the replay. I've won the last 2 tournaments at some friends' houses and even plugged the show and told others about it. I agree, it really does help my game. I see myself playing more premium hands and less garbage hands. And then he says, how do I get one of those live at the bike little spinny disc things that Seat 5 has? Well, he's going to come down to the casino.
Says, can you hook a brother up?
Now, the funny thing about this email is I hope he understands and everyone else understands when he says, I see myself playing more premium hands and less garbage hands. Premium hands in a no-limit game in position might be an 8-9 of diamonds, and a garbage hand might be an ace-jack offsuit, right?
Yeah.
Pocket kings here for Seat 8. Going to bring it in for a raise.
And that's an email from Timothy
Wow. and
Sajdowitz.
Pocket queens for Seat 4.
Ooh, wow.
And he's a new player, and he's stepped right into queens. And let's see if he's gonna move all in with queens. Welcome to the table here.
And I imagine Tina's going to call this.
Yeah, Tina's got a gift here unless she gets unlucky. He says, she says, have you even looked?
And you know, it's funny, sometimes when somebody first sits down, you kind of just go, oh, come on, this guy's probably a crazy guy. He probably does nothing. And she's going to call. And can you like your hand if you have queens now? If she calls you?
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, would
Here
she
we
call
go.
with a hand worse than that?
Wow.
Oh, and she's in really bad
He's
shape.
trying to run in quads here. No, that's it. That's it. Nice
Obviously.
hand there by Tina.
Tina even had the king of hearts, just in case.
Right. Full house.
Yeah, and just in case she had aces, she had that beat too.
Do we have any more of those live at the bike card protector things?
You wouldn't have played it the same way.
We'll actually have, we're trying to work on some stuff on the website,
I said
folks.
if you wouldn't have played it the same way.
So hopefully in the coming months, you can check out liveatthebike.com. Continue checking out liveatthebike.com because we'll always have new things on there. And hopefully we'll have kind of like a, merchandise section on there where you can get maybe a
Live at the bike t-shirt.
or a Bart bobblehead.
Live at the bike boxer shorts.
Yes, exactly.
A Bart bobblehead. There you go.
I'm dying for a Bart bobblehead.
Nice first hand. That's a nice first hand.
Yeah, it was. I knew I was going to lose, too. I call.
Maybe we can publish our own worthless live at the bike how to play poker book.
Go ahead, Jack 10.
I have no idea. I've never even
Six-way action here. Queen, 8, deuce, all spades.
Check, man. Check.
I can't even remember what I've looked at, and I've looked at them 3 times.
I actually wrote a play in college. Maybe we can sell it on Live at the Bike. The Boy Who Killed Bambi. Think I can get any interest for it?
Turns a 4, and Tina's got Sylvester's got the highest flush here with the 7 of spades.
Can you throw another spade on the river?
No, I think Tina's just gonna.
Wow.
Well, she's gonna throw a little bet out here with a pair and 3
Well,
of spades.
you wonder, is that going to get Sylvester off? And Sylvester folded the hand.
Yep.
And Larry might fold it too. Well, I'm not sure if Larry will fold.
Get out of here.
Yeah, she's gonna.
No.
He's gonna call.
Larry calls with 5 spades.
They have nicotine water?
And can Tina buy this pot by betting a lot on the river?
Well, the river's a jack.
Does Tina have it in? She's going to have to bet about $20. Nah, she's
She checks, and Larry's going to check right behind her.
That beats me.
Hey, I like the instincts by her. She bet the flush, and she actually got Sylvester off the best hand,
Right.
but could not get Larry off of it. Larry sniffed it out. He knew his 5 was good.
Dave, while you were gone trying to do your little Super System fest out of the room, I was telling the viewers about how we're having a Super Bowl party at your house.
Yeah, everybody's invited.
Everyone's
sure.
invited.
Everybody's invited. My wife will be thrilled. Yeah, I'm actually going to make the trip to my favorite deli, Jim's Barbecue, out in the valley. Anybody that knows, I think it's out in like Woodland Hills.
Hey, I'm going to say something really nice. If I ever have a wife as cool as your wife, I think they'll be happy. As we look at another chip count here.
You don't
Cook
even know
for
my
me.
wife.
Cook for me.
Look at Chris. Wow.
I don't care.
Chris, the buy-in for this game is $80, and he's got $400. And by the way, Tina's probably got closer to, I want to say closer to 300 now, obviously, after winning that big pot from seat 4.
The first one you had queen.
Wow. Yeah, my wife is pretty cool.
We had a little raise here by seat 4, 8-4 offsuit.
Yeah?
I was actually thinking we could really fun on Super Bowl party. Obviously, we'll eat, we'll play some poker, we'll watch some football. Be a fun night.
Queen 7 of diamonds here for seat 5 is a pretty big hand. Jack 10, 5. Well, he's got just a flush draw. Doesn't have a straight draw yet. Tina's going to come out and bet $4 with ace 5.
Chris has got the best hand here. Top pair, top kicker.
Let's see if he's going to pop it up a little bit.
Pop it up.
Yep.
Make it 28.
Now, a rack of green is $200.
Yes.
Give you a little bit of reference.
Stack is $40 usually.
Right.
Stack of 20. And Chris raises it up to $28. And you imagine, and wow, and look at that. Queen 7 is folds, and Tina folds, and Chris takes it down. Nice raise by him.
I got to say, Deste there in seat 5, well-disciplined, pretty solid poker player for a dealer.
Yeah, I like his game. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately for him, he got caught with a flush over flush.
Right. I mean, that's going to happen.
And most players will
you can
lose
do
money on
about
that one.
You guys went all in before the.
Before the flop.
I sat down, not even sitting down for 10 seconds, had queens, like, all right, my chips just got here, all in, right? She
Button
calls.
moves over here to seat number
You
8.
did get to think about the rack.
Why did you call? You got to fold. Why did you call?
Blind hitters. 2.5 stacks.
King Queen suited for seat 8.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm in.
You got to fold those kings.
Yeah, right.
You're so cute.
Aren't I?
Race, look at
Reading Surfing Alani's post on 2+2. You know, I have to agree with him, actually.
About limit.
Yeah, about limit, I mean, being the gap between 816 and 2040. 2040 here, obviously, that is a big gap. While no limit, obviously, there really is no gap.
Well represented at all levels.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what level you want to play, you can play no limit here.
Seat 1 has raised it up here with ace 6 of spades, $12.
$10.
And we're going to see a bunch of callers here. Wow, 7-way action.
Hey, 7-way action.
$84 pot.
Which hand would you want here? Maybe 6, 7 of clubs?
Ace, king, 7. Wow, look at that. Chris raises with ace rag, hits an ace.
Wait, how does he know where he's at right now?
Well, Deste also has an ace. He's got the same ace. Now, Deste folded this hand earlier, remember, maybe an hour ago.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's not the flop you're looking for if you have ace 6 of hearts.
Now, Serge is thinking about, he's going to check.
And nobody has diamonds.
Bet 12.
Tina's got second pair.
Well, he's bet 12 into an $84 pot. This would be a ridiculous, tight laydown for ace 6. He's going to make the call.
Yeah.
I mean, the bet, if he comes out and bets, $70, $80, pot size bet, a little bit different, right?
Yeah, well, I think he's a little scared. And it smells like a scared bet, doesn't it?
Tina's got king, queen here. Does she want to overcall here? 2 diamonds on board.
Yeah, you've got no redraw. You got second pair with no redraw. I think it's a pretty easy laydown.
Well, what she's thinking of...
Telling me to do.
Listen, Matt, she's asking us what we're saying. The only thing she's got to consider is the bet is so small, and you've got a caller in between. It's a $105
Yeah, but what are you trying to
pot, $12 to call.
What are you trying to hit, though?
Right.
How do you even know it? How do you even know? I mean, remember, one of these players might have ace king.
Yeah, if she hits another king, she doesn't necessarily know.
And if a
it's
queen
good.
comes out, how do you know if that's good?
How about if it's queen of diamonds? Yeah.
But even a queen, I don't love. I mean, somebody could have jack 10.
Right. Right.
I mean, this is one of those times where I don't really want anything. I don't know what I want.
Here we go to the turn. Turns a jack, diamond.
I mean, unless she's going to represent diamonds. Now, she's on the button.
Bet 40.
If she's going to represent diamonds here, hey.
Well, Chris is going to come out and bet again. He bets 40, and he might actually, from what we've seen of the other 2 players that he's up against, he might get both of them to lay it down now.
Now, this is one of those things now, if Tina wants to make a play at it, this would be a great time to make a play at it, but no.
Yeah.
And you can't blame her, obviously.
What about 20 minutes left in the show?
I mean, I would sooner. Now, there was one player who had actually had 7-6. And remember the flop was ace, king, 7. I would sooner call with 7-6 than I would with king, queen there. Because if I hit my 2 pair there or I hit my trips there,
Yep.
I know it's probably good. While king, queen, I don't
Right.
like it. Having said that, though, I probably wouldn't even call it 7-6 either.
Button's going to move over here to seat 9.
I go all in and knock everyone else out. And he wins the game.
Yeah, it is interesting that our limit hold'em section goes from 816 all the way to 2040. I've always thought we'd be better served having an 816 game than like a 1530 game and then a 3060 game.
Well, the funny thing about that post, and it speaks the truth, is that No Limit's a new game. It's only been around here on this casino for about a year and a half. If you come to the casino now, you've got 10 No Limit games going, and then you've got propped up maybe a 20 game and a 30 game. It's just reversed.
Right.
I mean, they're lucky to have 2 higher limit games above 816,
No
and the
Limit-
rest is all No Limit.
Yeah,
now.
No Limit has taken over the world.
Wow, set of 5. Sylvester flops 5s, full 4s, and Eugene's got trip 4s.
Uh-oh.
So now it's going to be interesting because I said I hadn't seen Eugene have trips. Is he going to bet right out?
And
Because remember, when he bet right out and Sylvester folded the queens
I
before,
think he is.
he was betting a flush draw. So does Sylvester now think he's betting a flush draw again as opposed to a 4?
Well, this time he's betting a 4. I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I like the play by Eugene. Now, this is the question, though. If you get called, can you beat anything with 410? I mean, I guess You could beat 4-3.
Well, question for and Sylvester is going to raise. He's going to fast play it. He's not going to wait for a possible action killer on the turn. Maybe get some people with big draws to stay in.
I love the play.
People might say, why is he raising everyone off his draws? Now he's going to probably get all of Eugene's money right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get the flush draw out of there, and you might have wanted to let Chris catch up, but you probably get Eugene to move all in here.
Well, let's say like if the 6 of clubs came on the turn, Eugene could get away from the hand, right?
Right, but then again, seat 1 is then nabbed and there was
Right.
Jack 7 of clubs.
So he's raised here with top full house on the flop.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, right? You're going, wait, why would you certainly
Right.
don't have 5s full.
Well,
You know,
for the
maybe you've got a 4.
purpose of deceiving. Remember we saw Jonas raise with the nut flush on the flop last night. Yeah.
You're disguising your holding here.
Right.
You're sitting there going, okay, well, why are you raising that? What are you scared of? Okay, so clearly you're scared of a flush. You're scared of a straight.
Yeah.
You know. So maybe you put your opponent on a 4, but if you put your opponent on a 4, can you beat his 4? You can't beat ace 4. I'm trying to think of hands that he might have. Ace 4, 4-3, 6-4.
I stopped buying glasses last year.
I can't imagine. I mean, if you, Eugene's going to call here.
Yeah, and all the money might go to Sylvester here. Eugene has 1 out, right? He needs the run of the river for you.
Turns a king. That's a good card. It's a high blank.
Yep.
Might not change anything.
I absolutely believe you. I just
And this could be the biggest pot of the night. And Eugene's going to bet here.
Yep.
He's going to bet. Now, Sylvester doesn't have that much.
Well, he doesn't want it. Yeah.
And he's just going to move all in here. And he has gotten all the money here by fast playing the hand.
Great play.
Wow. Yeah.
Every
we need a
single
4
bit
or
of
4
it.
only. No.
Yep. Huge pot, probably the biggest pot of the night. Almost $400. A fast play with top flopped full house here
Huge,
on the
and
flop.
I love the way Sylvester played it. I actually like the way Eugene played it too. I mean, I can't fault him.
Yeah,
He played it fast, and Sylvester kind of, disguised his holding.
right.
That's 2. That's 10 right here.
And even people that are loyal to the show or watch the show a lot, have said on some of the boards and have emailed us and have said, well, you always want to just smooth call or check top full house. Well, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily know if that hand would have turned out any different because a high blank king came.
Right.
But,
That 8, you would have lost big time.
you know,
A lot. I mean, like most poker questions, it depends.
right.
Sat down at a table about a month ago, and it was just stupid stacks. I mean, it was just gross. And it was a $100 table. I sat down, and there was a guy.
And obviously, I mean, here at the Bicycle Casino, we actually have, daily we have 20,
Right.
40 limit hold'em. We have 30, 60 limit hold'em. But it is interesting that limit hold'em used to dominate the poker scene, and now it really has reversed. No limit hold'em is king.
Anyway, make a long story short, ended up all in pre-flop.
Most of the new blood that is coming into the casino these days is coming in playing exclusively no limit hold'em.
6 all. And the guy over there had 5-7 suited.
Raise here by seat number 9 and a couple callers. Jack 8 of spades for seat 9.
Yeah,
Queen
misses
flat
everybody.
4.
He
Yep,
was
this
left
is
with
everyone.
a white chip and $1 chip.
Yeah, the button is in seat 1. Let's see if seat 9 continues. No, he's going to check it. And it checks around. Turn is a 4 of spades. That doesn't change anything. Jack high is still the best hand, by the way, folks. And let's see if Chris takes a shot now. No, Chris is still not going to shake a shot. And the river is the ace of spades. And everybody's missed this. And Sergey's got the best hand with Jack high.
Yeah, the Jack's going to play here.
Wow.
Fours with an ace-queen Jack kicker. Unbelievable.
Well, he's got second nut, no pair, huh? Obviously,
Wait, a three-way pot. How often does Jack high take it down?
yeah,
Where people have different cards, not the same hand. I mean, you know.
right. And Sergey takes it down.
I feel bad for John.
Sergey played it perfectly, trying to induce the bluff the entire way.
And he's like, come on, let's not take money off the chunk.
I'm looking forward to saying hi to Tina out there, Dave. She's played it pretty solidly. She just played the Jacks really passively and backed her way into some sort of ludicrous chop. If people saw that in the first hour, you know, with the Jacks.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
If anyone didn't see it, she had pocket Jacks. The flop came ace, queen, queen. It went. Guy checked to her, and she checked in position. The turn was a king, and I think the river was an ace. double pairing the board with a king kicker
No, it was actually the other way around. It was aces and queen. No, it was queens and kings
with an ace kicker, and her jacks didn't play.
Right.
I mean, how often does a pair of jacks on the hole not play in a hand?
Right.
Unless the hand's got 4 of a kind out on it, right? Something like that, or a full house.
Even then, normally
Yeah.
Jack would play. You know, it's really rare for Jacks not to play.
4-way action here. 5-3 deuce. Hey, look at that flop, Dave. That won me a lot of money earlier today.
I don't know what kind of action it was.
Actually, wait a minute. That one didn't win me a lot of money. That one, well, I lost with aces on that hand. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the hand. This is the hand where I had aces in late position. I bet the flop a little weak. Got a call from a solid player and got check raised from up front and got rid of the black aces.
Yeah.
The guy gets a royal.
See, some people have problems getting away from hands. You've got to realize that you don't have to win every hand. Even if you got aces or kings, you can throw them away, pick a better spot.
And again, we talk about Joe Wynn, really solid player, calling me in between, scared me a whole bunch.
I have a lot of respect for Joe's
Yeah.
game, and the last thing I'm going to give him is action.
And the reason he called with pocket fours because I made the bet so weak on the button. You know?
Well, he's open-ended on this kind of flop, you know?
Right.
And he's not necessarily behind. If you're betting ace-king or ace-queen, he's got the best hand and the best draw.
We had a bet here by seat 9, Serge, with ace-3, and a raise. Look at Eugene. He's flopped a straight, and he's raised it immediately. And he's going to get Larry to call with the flush draw, and Serge calls.
I tell you,
We've seen a lot of fast playing in this game so far tonight.
the players are just playing straightforward. They got the goods. They're going to bet it. Like I said before, you know, a little bit of information can be dangerous, and we see that at the mid-level, so, you know, the 3 to 5 jacks, so to speak, or even the $200 no
So
limit game.
Eugene has built himself a nice pot. Oh, and Larry's picked up top pair with his flush draw. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, he doesn't have much money either.
And Eugene's going to continue to push with the nut straight all in. Larry's going to call. He needs a heart, and I think Serge can easily fold the ace-3 now.
Yeah, this is an easy laydown here for Sergey.
Sergey. Sorry about that. If you go back and watch the replay.
Once again, we're live, unedited, unscripted here.
Well, Larry's still thinking about it. I thought that he would beat Eugene into the pot here.
No, Larry's in there already.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, he's got the money, right? It's Sergey. It's on Sergey right now. With
Right.
he's got a wheel draw and third pair.
Right.
And he does not have a heart in his hand, so, I mean, he's drawing dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
I get to see the cards, so I fold.
And you know that you got to
Brings the action.
So here we go. Larry's going to need to catch a heart here as we go to the river. It does not come, and Eugene's going to take it down. Got the straight, fast played it.
Nice block.
You know, kind of to respond also to some people saying, well, the bike needs to have some limit games that bridge the gap between 8-16 and 20-40. We actually used to have a 10-20 game when I first started here and when you were here before that went daily, and it was kind of a tight, grindy game, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, to me, the 8-16 game and the 10-20 game were too close.
Right.
To me, it just never made sense. Again, on the chip count here, Chris way in the lead here. $480. He continues to add to his stack. Sylvester now up to $400. We got a lot of money on this table for an $80 game.
Yeah,
huh?
absolutely. I mean, we've got $1,500.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot for a game that's only 2 blinds.
Right.
Back to my
We've
point.
got to see some impressive play here tonight, I
Yeah,
gotta say.
I like the play.
Yeah.
I really have. I've enjoyed it a lot. To me, I mean, obviously, upper management knows what they're doing. But to me, it always made sense to have an 8-16 game, a 15-30 game, and then a 30-60 game.
But I think they wanted to save the 20 game. That was
Yeah,
what it was.
well.
Yeah.
I appreciate your deposit. $6.
It just gives players a place to go. You know what I mean? A place to move up.
Well, there's a big jump between 8-16 and 24.
There is a huge jump.
Huge.
They're the
You know, and when the 20 game has trouble, you know, if we're a little short in the 20 game, it's hard to fill that up with 8 players because they're sitting there going, oh, I don't want to jump up that high.
In a short-handed game. Either.
Right, exactly. And while the 30 game sometimes will compete with the 20 game.
Right. But I got to tell you, the 30 game is the best limit game in town here right now.
Oh, it's great.
amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. We had a little raise here. I believe it was by seat number 1, Chris, with ace-6 of clubs. He's hit top pair. Look at the flop for Larry. Gut shot, wheel draw, straight flush draw, deuce 3 of spades.
Hey, that's a big flop. You got to start counting his outs. Even if you put somebody on an ace, even if you put somebody on 2 pair, you've got any 5, any spade.
Now look at Eugene's hand. He's got second pair. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there's only 2 spades. Everybody check, though. The turn's a 10.
Wow, and Sergey
Has made a straight.
Yeah, he's got the nut straight here, folks.
He has the nuts right now with king, queen.
That's what I had on my hand.
He's got the nuts right in his hands.
And now Ace is going to come out and bet with a pair of tens.
Okay.
Kind of another little bit of a mistake here. I don't know if I'd bet out there with 10-6 on the turn to 8 people.
Yeah, we'll find out where he's at right away.
And now we're going to see an immediate raise here by Sergey.
Yeah, Sergey's played it straightforward all night long. And he's gotten paid all night long.
He's going to make it 40 to go. You know, it's funny, like you said, it's almost like these players are raising with their good hands because they don't know any better. But then when you actually get to know the game, it's the right play, right?
Well, it's just funny, you know, sometimes
I respect you. I threw it way up.
when players, and I'll get to this in a second right at this hand, because I'm really curious what Larry's going to do with deuce three of spades. He called, actually. He called the original bet.
Well, he called the bet. He was in between.
Yeah, I'm
He's
curious
over
if he's
to
going to
ace.
call the raise here, and I'll get to this in a second.
Still has a big draw, and he is going to call. Yeah, but the thing is, a 5 would be no good right now. He needs a spade.
Exactly.
Spade only.
Now he only has 9 outs.
Yeah.
Heads up.
The river's a 4. Wow, there you go.
His hand doesn't even play. He plays the board.
Then he's going to move them all in.
Yeah, he moves all in, and obviously Larry's not going to call with 3 high.
Right.
Now, I'm going to reference the article that I read a long time ago in Card Player magazine, probably 2-3 years ago, that talks about backwards play. And
one that was recently out.
Yeah, but the one I'm talking about, it actually talks about the author of the article. I forget his name. Probably maybe 3 years ago.
Dan Abrams?
No, wasn't him. But he actually says backwards play is prevalent in our players that are good players and becoming good players, but not great players yet.
Right.
You know?
But it was a huge.
Although
they
sometimes
almost
I see
start-
people elementally just straight up play slow all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, beginners tend to play their hands pretty fast. They're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
They bet when they got it. They check when they don't.
Raise. It's 6. 3 chip.
I mean, I actually noticed. I remember playing 3 years ago, and I was playing myself. I started playing a little backwards, and then I read that article and I recognized it in myself.
Raise here to 6 chips here by seat number 9. He's got pocket jacks. So it's a $6 raise. Not really a big raise, Dave. I think it probably would have raised it a little more. 9-5 deuce rainbow. He's got the overpair. Let's see if he's going to bet.
Yeah, he's still good there. He's got a lot of money in front of him, doesn't he? Wow. I mean, those stacks are probably what? Stacks of 30? Probably $60 in each stack.
And Eugene is going to call. He's got just a gut shot to the 7 here.
Heads up.
Well, again, maybe Eugene, if the guy checks, if this guy in seat 9 checks it when a rag comes, maybe Eugene figures he can bet and take it down. The turn's a deuce.
Well, that's a great card for jacks.
Over there.
But Serge is going to continue to bet, and this screams like he's got a good hand, right?
Bet 40.
Well, I mean, Eugene knows he's got it clear out here. If he hits a 7, he's going to win.
Well, look at this. Eugene's going to make a move. He's going to raise.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if making a move at a table like this is really where you want to make a move, though.
Well, he's not going to get the guy off of an overpair. I mean, he might be trying to represent a deuce here.
Well, look at Sergey. Sergey's eyeing him down.
80.
He's raising 80 more. I mean, he's really trying to represent the deuce here. And Sergey's thinking about it.
17.
You know?
Yep.
He's thinking about it. And it looks like he's going to call, though, and he does.
Oh, really?
Emphatically calls. And Eugene's going to need a 7 and only a 7 here. He's got 4 outs to the river.
Right.
I started early. A little early.
River's an ace.
10.
Well, could that be a scary card for Sergey?
You know, if the guy's if the guy was making a move with, say, like the ace high spade flush draw.
Yeah, he haven't doing anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just scared to get my.
I mean, that's it, though, right?
Could he have made that move?
With what?
Ace 3 of spades.
Oh, so, I mean,
Yeah,
that would have to be it. Or ace
Yeah.
5 of spades, maybe.
Right.
Ace 5 of spades.
I know.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Looking, someone could be sending him a text message saying.
And this is a huge pot right now.
Oh, enormous.
I don't know if you can
And-
take a look at that pot.
And I'm trying to see what's going on here. It's still on Sergey, right? And does Sergey maybe put a little blocker bet in there? Or do you want to check and induce the bluff? The pot is too big. There's no way.
It's $300.
I mean, there's.
I'm going all in either way.
I check then.
So So
Sergey checks.
And I'm getting word Eugene actually wanted to run it
And
more than once.
Eugene is going to move in, but it's a 3. He folds. He's
What?
going to get a bet of $80 into a $380 pot, and Sergey folds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
And he shows
He
the bluff.
shows the bluff. What a scare card on the river.
Well, you know what? I mean, incorrectly, and you can't blame Sergey here. Wow. Well,
That
there
was
it is.
actually the last hand of the night, Dave. Well, go on with your analysis on that hand.
I was just going to say, incorrectly, obviously, he put him on. He said, oh, well, an ace. He must have had an ace.
Right.
You know, and if you play the hand in your head, you go, an ace doesn't really make much sense.
Well, again, it was $80 into a $380 pot, so that's going to do it for us tonight.
Wow, an exciting night.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really
Thank you
enjoyed that.
again, man.
Yeah.
I've been playing with this the whole time.
Can't even fit in here.
All right, get
Bart's
it
head
in
is
my
just getting
hands.
bigger and bigger by the moment.
So join us tomorrow for our 10-20 no limit game. Lots of action, super action game,
Yeah.
unrestricted buy-in. For everybody here in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live the Bike.
Can we keep playing at this table?
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.